Welcome to our No Kindred Hungry, a Sabbat story. This is chapter 2, which our guest storyteller has named Friends in Low Places, appropriately, probably. Um, if you were lucky enough to see the last one before it got lost forever, welcome back. If not, welcome to the carnage. This is a charity stream between Table Goth, ATL by Night, Near Dark Studios, Vancouver by Night, with special guests. We have Shane Easton, who most of you should recognize from various other vampire streams. Then, of course, Mr. Matthew Webb. We'll do our intros in a second. This is sort of a way of all of us to get together, raise money for a good cause. This time we're doing Move for Hunger, which is a really cool charity. We'll have a link below and a link in the chat on how to help put funds towards that campaign. Anything helps. We know a lot of stuff's going on and a lot of people don't have funds, or you might want to put your funds elsewhere. That is fine. This is just sort of one little thing that we have going with our theme of helping combat hunger. Move for Hunger works with relocation services, apartment complexes, real estate companies to collect food that usually gets thrown away in these processes and helps transport them to food banks in need, which are in high demand now more than ever. So we're here for a good cause, but we're here to do questionable things because we're all playing Sabbat characters, which you'll get to know a little more of in a little bit. So without further ado, I'll let everyone do a quick introduction of who they are. We'll plug our stuff at the end, and then we'll get right into the story. So I am Bully, and I am the storyteller for Table Goth. I will be playing Lullaby. He's Clan Samdi. Elijah, you want to go next?
My name is Elijah Israel. I'm the storyteller for Near Dark Studios. You may know me from Chicago by Night. I am playing Raphael Body, and I'm Clan Nasambra, and the Noxus of this pack.
Ellie?
My name is Ellie Collins. I am the storyteller for ATL by Night, and I play Dala Abiyadi, former head of the Abiyadi crime family, and I am Clan Malkavian.
And then rounding out our storyteller pack, Steve.
I'm Steve. I am the storyteller or babysitter for Vancouver by Night that tries to herd those particular cats. I'm playing the guy who his name is best said with the German accent, Baxter Hammermeister. And it's an actual name. I looked it up. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I am the Gangrel Antitrib.
We have our guest player who should be a storyteller one day, hopefully soon. Shane.
Hi, I'm Shane Easton. No, I have never told the story before as a storyteller, but I do play a lot of vampire. You could see me play Katya on LA by Night or Jack's Tuesday on Denver by Night. And I'm excited about this game. I played Trixie, the Bruja anti-tribute.
And then we were lucky enough to have a guest storyteller this time around, Mr. Matthew Webb.
Hi, I'm Master of Ceremonies for this movable feast. I am the creative director and lead storyteller for the live action Sabbat event, The Night in Question, which runs every year, this year in September. We are still on as of right now. And praise Cain.
Praise Cain.
Praise Cain.
With that, if everyone is ready, this is No Kindred Hungry, Chapter 2, Friends in Low Places. Take it away.
The Sabbat, the Sword of Cain, envisions itself as an army. It believes with fanatic vigor that the father of all vampires, Cain, has chosen them to be the instrument of his will and his vengeance, to pave the way for his return in the final nights. They believe they will be his army when he returns, and until then, they must do all they can to secure victory over the hated antediluvians, the third generation of vampires, the creators of each of the clans. And that means disposing all of those who serve Cain's misbegotten grandchildren, and especially the Camarilla. Because of this, the image many kindred have of the Sabbat is one of a ravenous horde, a merciless army waging the chaotic and masquerade-threatening midnight siege against the Camarilla domain. But in truth, that's really just a small portion of the Sabbat's life, their tactics, and their endless war against the Camarilla. For centuries, they have focused just as much on infiltration, on recruitment, on gathering information. They pose as Anarchs and Camarilla alike, and then strike. Every great city that has been taken by the Sabbat has been the subject to months, if not years, of undermining and subterfuge. Some Cainites do not even think the Sabbat capable of such subtlety, a tribute to the sect's success in promoting this image of them as mindless monsters. They are monsters, certainly, just not mindless. Tonight, the pack, after months after the events in New York City, are arriving in Austin, Texas. It is a city that has been held by the Camarilla for many decades, and one that has been the subject to infiltration and attacks by the Sabbat 3 times in its past. The infiltrators in Austin may have been the last to hear from the Sabbat of Mexico City, and Archbishop de Polonia is desperate for news of what is happening in the now darkened jewel of the Sabbat's crown. Driving down the dark capital of Texas highway, the pack is making its way to the scenic overlook where the head of the infiltrators, a Toreador anti-tribu named Alexander Snowden, said he would meet them. So let's tell a story about monsters, and let's tell a story about lies. Let's tell a vampire story. As you proceed down in your stolen van that you stole in the Port of Houston, the infrequent traffic down the road glares brightly. There are no streetlights on this street. There are occasional stoplights, but it's a large 3-lane on each side divided highway with a green space between the two. As you drive up the highway, you start seeing signs for the scenic overlook, and you see it is a small place on the side of the road where you can pull in, and there is little more than a cement platform with a small short limestone wall of it, looking over a vast, expansive valley with short trees that offers a wonderful view of the bright and glittering Austin skyline. Radio towers flicker in the distance, and you see 2 figures sitting, and one sitting, one standing on the low limestone wall that surrounds the small cement platform that allows such a wonderful view of the city. Who is driving?
That would be me.
Excellent.
I
What do
am
you
going.
do and what do you say when you see this?
I'm going to let the rest of the coterie know that I see it, and I'm going to gesture to Raphael. Say, "What do you want me to do?"
Do you see our contact?
I think so.
Let's still be careful about this. Pull in slowly. Pack, get ready.
Will do. I'm going to very carefully pull up into the meeting space. But I will stop the car probably about 20 feet away from our contact.
Very well. You pull into the small space. There's maybe 20 feet of asphalt total to drive on and about 4 parking spaces, one of
Okay.
which is occupied by a very nice Pontiac. Looks like a Corvette, I believe. Some sort of sports car. And it has this lovely sort of custom blue prismatic paint job on it. Very chic, very expensive, slightly gaudy. Do you want to pull into the parking space, or do you want to just park in the little driveway?
I'm going to pull into the parking space.
Very well. Your headlights illuminate the 2 figures nicely. One of them is dressed in a suit, no tie, silk red shirt underneath, pale, tall, and angular. He looks at you and removes sunglasses that he was wearing at night and glares at you briefly and then offers a very winning smile. Though The way he looks at you reminds you more of the way a tiger bares its teeth to threaten someone than to be a friendly person. The other one is a much more mousier person who sits curled up with his legs crossed on top of the limestone wall, looking out over the city and paying you absolutely no mind, despite the fact that you just flooded the small platform with your headlights.
All right, I'm going to leave the car on and say, what's our move? How are we approaching them?
I get up and I exit the back of the vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
Wait here.
Will do. And I still have up Sense the Unseen.
Very well.
I'm gonna use obfuscate and go behind Raphael just to make sure he has backup.
You
I'm
do
going to-
actually. One moment, please. Darla, you do notice that there is a third individual here.
Okay.
There is a gentleman dressed in a hoodie with it pulled up, who is crouched in one corner where the short wall connects, and is looking intently. His arms are draped across his knees as he sits with his back to his wall. He's not in a ready position, but he's definitely watching you from underneath his hood. You do see he has sort of wrinkled penis sort of hands, and he has a countenance to his face and obvious sharp teeth. All of these indicate that he is of Clan Nosferatu.
Okay. I am going to, without making sound of it, I am going to unlock the door. I'm going to. Raphael, did you leave the back door open of the van?
Yes.
Okay. Then I'm going to very quietly click open my door, just how it disconnects from the latch, but not open it.
All right.
Just gonna make sure that my door is ready.
Who was going through Sense the Unseen?
I was,
I'll be
very well.
joining him.
and I did not succeed in that res check.
Very well.
I also
Give yourself one
get-
more hunger.
Lullaby also gets a little hungrier.
Lullaby, did you acquire a new friend?
Mr. Avery is hasn't been relieved of his service just yet. I'll probably set my shambling friend to just stand right outside the back of the van. I follow Raphael, giving him his due distance, while Lullaby waits next to him unseen and with heightened senses to listen into this conversation.
Very well.
So I keep myself kind of a step back from Raphael on his right side, just to make sure.
Close enough to intercede should things go badly. Correct.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Trixie, are you staying in the car? Everyone else seems to be leaving except for the driver.
I look at Darla and I go, "What? Are you getting out? Are you staying in? You're getting out of the car?"
I have call it a bit of a feeling. I got a feeling I'm gonna need to lay it to the floor pretty quickly when we finish this. So I'm gonna stay right here. But if you want to bust some skull, sweetheart, you go right ahead.
Okay, I think I'll just kind of like go up there and just kind of, protect.
I like it. Yeah.
So I roll down my window and I climb out of the window and I pull myself up onto the roof of the car and I just kind of sit on the roof of the van with my crowbar and hang out, watch over things.
Are you leaving the headlights on?
Yes.
You're bathing your La Sombra friend in wonderful halogen light.
What's the orientation of the parking spaces?
Parking spaces aimed directly at the platform.
Oh, my apologies. Then no, the lights are off. Sorry, I thought we were parked to the side.
Nope.
So
no.
I do turn the headlights off, but there's still that the kind of the car is on at night glow.
All right, you have the dome light inside of the car still going.
Yeah.
Very well.
I pound on the roof of the car and go, could you turn up the music like a little bit? Like just a little bit?
Yeah, I got you, dear. I'm just going to turn it up just enough for her to hear it up there.
What is
Thank
on the radio? What kind of music are you indulging in?
Oh, it's a mixtape that I had that I made like a long time ago. Like it's
Ah,
like the Weirdos, the Cramps, X, all the good stuff, the Germs, stuff like that.
very
Any
well.
blue vomit on there?
Sure.
The gentleman in the without the tie, but in the stylish kind of club wear suit, looks at you, and while he taps his sunglasses against his hand and goes, "So, if she's Nancy, you must be Sid."
Excuse me?
Oh, I'm sorry. I hate to be one who puts people on the spot with pop culture references. Oh, wait, I love being that person. Now, you contacted me, but I am Alexander Snowden, and apparently the Archbishop of New York has business with me.
He does. He wants to know as far as what's the status in Mexico City? Why has it gone dark?
You know, I wish I could tell you. I really do. However, I'm far too busy being someone I'm not. But we have had a problem recently that might solve both of our problems.
Oh, please indulge me.
Believe me, if I get around to indulging you, it'll blow your mind. Now, we have had sparse communiques from Mexico City. We are, after all, been sent here by the Cardinals themselves. They've slowed to a trickle, though. So many have left for the Middle East. Well, on that damned little crusade of theirs. That it seems like people have decided to take advantage of the situation.
How so?
Well, it turns out that if you leave things undefended, people take them.
Well, where can me and my associates help out?
Tell me, just as a matter of course, what is Clan La Sombra's position on such leadership choices? Abandoning what is considered to be a tried and true method of acquiring and forwarding the goals of the Sword of Cain, and instead deciding that they needed to get into international relations.
Well, if you're speaking my relationship with my clan, it's not faring too well. I find myself separate and just for the cause.
Ah, so the rumors are true?
Yes.
Well. Well. So the pillar of the Sabbat has decided to lie down and get some fleas, huh?
It appears so. I mean, see, Nox has decided that our clan needed to bend the knee to some ivory dogs.
Unfortunate. But good to know, and I'm sure you're speaking with absolute honesty, that you have no such intentions to follow such a foolhardy course.
Of course not. I'm here for one and one reason only. To further our sect, to see our plans to fruition, to abandon pitiful things like the Muglan doctrine. I want it back to where it was.
Passion? Well, though isn't it our nature to want things to be back the way they were. But I'm sorry. I'm a Toreador. I'm waxing poetic. It's kind of like brooding for you. We can't help it. Now, the last communique that we got from, or the last attempt at a communication we got from Mexico City has been compromised.
Compromised how?
As you might not be aware, as your clan is rarely chosen for this task, we have been adopting personas here for a while. With what happened in London, it got fairly easy, actually. Alexander Snowden, from all indications, met a rather ugly end there, and it was easy to take his position. However, we do get occasional runners from Mexico City, people who are intent on meeting us. One of the ones that came through was captured. I don't know if they know what her purpose was here, but as Toreador Primogen, I was fully informed that they captured a lone Sabbat in the city, and that one of the sheriff's deputies has them under lock and key. Should said vampire be interrogated, it would be quite damaging to our position here. As you might figure out, so far they don't suspect that they were the target of any further operations by us. I would like to keep it that way, especially when we have so little support. But that also means that it's rather hard for us to act directly should any of the sheriff's minions or survive or any wayward security cameras get involved.
Storyteller,
Yes.
can I judge the general mood of this conversation? Does it look like it's going well, or does it look like Raphael is not enjoying himself?
Raphael, are you enjoying yourself visibly?
Well,
When is he ever really?
Are you visibly not enjoying yourself more than usual?
I'm pretty much my brooding self right now.
Are you indicating in any way that I would know from being with you all this time
yeah.
that would I know that it's
There's-
not going well for you?
There's no level of discomfort or like the situation escalating right now. So
Okay, let me know.
You're behaving as a Lasombra being mildly taunted by a Toreador. In other words, it's like 90% of the conversations you've ever had with this clan.
I'm just keeping an eye out, and I'm keeping an eye on that Nosferatu.
The Nosferatu seems to be holding very, very still. Actually,
Oh,
make a composure plus subterfuge roll, please.
composure plus subterfuge. Okay, so let's see here. Where's my subterfuge? Okay. So that is going to be 3 successes, 1 critical. Or 3
Someone
in
like you can
total,
make-
where 1 is a critical.
Please make for me a wits plus awareness roll.
Uh-oh. Let's see. Awareness. Okay, so that's going to be total 3 successes, 2 of which are critical.
You can tell, the eyes glinting underneath the hoodie, that he is looking straight at you.
Good.
If you had to suspect, he knows you're looking at him, and you now know he's looking at you.
Good.
He does not move 1 more inch other than that.
We're going to enjoy our romantic Italian dinner right now. And just stare into each other's eyes.
Well, there's not a little Italy in this town, or else you could go out for Italian. Now, Alexander, or whatever his name is, since you just told you it was an assumed name, looks at you and says, obviously, it would be far more convenient if a random group of pale riders in service of the Sword of Cain came to rescue this lonely individual rather than have us tip our hand. However, we would like to speak to this person forthwith. And in fact, what they have to say might not be for your ears, and I'd hate to be placed in a situation.
So, this runner, do you have any inkling where the sheriff could have made off with him?
Funny you should ask. Given one of our position as having control of one of the hounds as well, we know quite a bit about their operations. There is a warehouse space. It poses as an art space, but we all know what it is. On East 5th Street, on the east side of town, if you go into the storm shelter, it has several places to keep a wayward kindred, especially one staked, which I think the individual has been. That would be my first bet.
And this sheriff that I have to look out for, do you have a description, clan, any markings?
The one that would be in charge is actually just one of the hounds, Jennifer Holtz. Angular sort of Ventru type, very, very sharpish.
All right.
Dresses like a presidential candidate. It's atrocious.
So your typical Ventru.
Yes, absolutely. I try to help, even if they're Camarilla, there's no reason for them to die tacky.
Well, now that we have a location, we'll deliver your runner.
Very well. You have the burner number that I contacted you with. We have a small pack haven. We try to keep things on the down low here, obviously. But we will tell you where to meet us and after you have acquired this person. And please, and I know I said this once already in my message, but it bears repeating. I'm sure you are perfectly aware of this, but every single time I deal with some random loyalists, they cause trouble. So please, for the love of God, be subtle.
Oh, if there's one thing my pack is capable of, it's being subtle. And I look up towards Trixie sitting on top of the truck.
I can tell, and the zombie is a nice touch too.
Well, at least
I'm getting subtle vibes all over.
At him looking at Trixie, I am going to focus on him and trigger a premonition. Which is a rouse check from me, followed by resolve and aspects for me. So that is a fail. I get hungrier. And 4 successes.
So there's something which snaps into your brain the moment you look at Alexander Snowden. It's a glint in his eye. And the very strong feeling you get off of him is the way he looks at Raphael and at you is the way one might look at a dime store hammer. He is devoted to the cause, but has absolutely no devotion to you. You're a tool, and you get the feeling that he intends to use you as one.
Okay. Thank you.
Well.
So he pulls out a pad of paper. He writes down and says, This is the address. Expect it to be as secure as you can be without standing out like a sore thumb in these situations. They don't run particularly deep, and I don't think they expect much trouble. In fact, some of us might have told them not to expect much trouble and convinced them so. After all, we have all these anarchs down in San Antonio. We can't spare people just to watch one lonely Sabbat. Obviously, we're in full retreat, don't you know? Especially with the La Sombra deciding to jump ship. Obviously, victory is at hand. He hands over the address.
I take it and I pocket it. Well, we'll get your runner in due time. Be discreet. So I see.
Also, do not feed on 6th Street. You'll be found in about 5 minutes flat the way they're watching it right now.
Why are
The
they
local
watching?
rack. Because the Anarchs ticking up all that dust in San Antonio and taking it from getting all that help from the ministry, as they call themselves now. Well, it's made the Camarilla a little bit paranoid about infiltrators. Maybe you can claim to be Anarchs.
Maybe. If that is all Snowden, oh, you'll be hearing from me later tonight.
It's not all, but this will do for now. You have a wonderful evening, and I'll be seeing you soon, I hope.
Seeing you soon.
Don't take any wooden nickels. He snaps his fingers, and the one who was curled up on the wall slowly slips off. And he's a very slight man with a bowl cut, and he has this kind of ghosty look in his eyes. He looks around for a bit and then walks straight up to you, Raphael.
Can I help you?
He reaches out to touch your face.
I kind of draw back from his reach.
As he's reaching, I grab his wrist.
Snowden, he kind of jumps but stays where he is. And Snowden goes, wow, that was rude. Also, 3 is a crowd.
Touching people's rude.
I know, but Caleb here is a bit of a seer. He tends to be like this.
Wow.
And seeing this happen, I'm gonna open the door to the car and just turn, just turn in the seat. I'm not getting out, but I've turned and opened the door.
Baxter, stand down. It's fine.
I let him go.
The tiny kid, looks like he's maybe 19, not that that's much of an indication of things amongst your kind, looks at you, and it's almost as if he's looking through you. And he goes, there's a shroud made for you. And then he leans back and starts walking towards the sports car again.
Enough of this. Let's get going.
Sure thing, boss.
Trixie, we're leaving.
I'm gonna
Can I
reach
just,
up and hit the hood for her.
Can I just ride on top of the van, just kind of stand up here, like
Can you
surfing?
hold tight?
No, get in the vehicle.
I got pretty
Snowden-
good balance.
Snowden walks up
We'll
to
do it
his
later when it's like
car.
a party night.
Snowden walks to the course car, beeps the alarm, and goes, subtlety! And slips inside.
I'm just
The
gonna go, I'll give you
Nosferatu.
fucking subtle.
I won't be giving you anything at all, and more's the pity for you.
I really hate that guy.
I kind of just do a flip off of the top of the van, and I land and I hop in through the window. Fine, but I'm turning up the music.
Go right ahead, dear.
Fine. Is everyone in the vehicle?
Yeah, I think everybody's hopping in. Settles a hammer, huh, boss?
Yes,
Speaking of,
subtlety.
speaking of hammers,
Yes.
they will absolutely let us burn for this. I just need you to know that. They want what they want for the Sabbat. They want the same things we do. But we better make no fucking bones about it that they will let us burn at the end of this result. So just stay on a swivel or whatever.
Of course. The only individuals I trust are in this vehicle right now.
Aw.
All right, Pack. I reach in and I take out the note and I hand it to, I believe it's Darla that's driving.
Yes.
This is the address. They have a runner that's been captured by the sheriff. And Snowden has assured me that security will not be tight. He has also informed me that we are not to feed on 6th Street or the rack. It's apparently being watched right now, heavy by the Camarilla. So if you
Fine.
get hungry, let me know, and we can find a discreet place to feed.
Fine. All right.
Speaking of loyalty, we should probably reinforce our bonds.
It's not a half bad idea, all things considered, because trust me, I got a good look at the guy. I can't explain it. I don't trust him one bit. I trust that this mission is good. I just don't trust what they're going to do to us after.
And I reach into the satchel that I have and pull out the silver goblet that I have for the reinforcing of bonds. And I use the dagger and I cut my wrist and I bleed into it. And then I pass it to Raphael along with the dagger.
You're going to attempt to do the ritual of the Vauldery.
Yes.
Very well. The ritual of the Vauldery is one of the sacred Auctoritas Ritae of the Sabbat. It creates a communal blood bond, but almost an emotional bond between, and a bond of empathy between all the members of a pack. It is considered to be one of the blessings of Cain himself that the Sabbat and only the Sabbat are capable of doing this. All attempts at recreating it by other sects have failed. A silver chalice is passed between all of you, and you are invited to announce your loyalty and to ask for the blessings of Cain. When you do so, your priest has begun the ritual and has begun to pass the knife. Proceed.
Pass it to Raphael.
I squeeze the dagger and bleed into the bowl.
And then
Do you
to
say
Trixie.
anything as part of the ritual?
To another night with my pack. Hopefully we sail on one tack and raise hell for the name of Cain. And I pass.
I pass it to Trixie as next.
I take the dagger and I go and I slice my hand open. I point and I go, well, here's to another night of fucking rock and roll. Let's do this.
And then over to Darla next.
I'm going to take the dagger and I'm going to drag it down my forearm and let it roll down my arm into it and say, together forever.
And then I bring it over to the new member.
And say I've had the pleasure of partaking in this before. I guess that makes this official then, huh?
It
Like a
does.
prom ring.
Avery, I'm going to hold my hand up and have my shambling friend cut it. Let's be the reason for their, let's make sure their trepidation isn't in vain. And I'll squeeze it into the cup.
And once I have it back, I say, my brothers and sisters, here we sup the vitae we all share, that of Cain, not of the cattle. In sharing this vitae, we break the elders' thrall over us, allowing us true freedom. No more shall we slave at our elders' behest, but we shall stand as one. Let us be forged in fire and blood, and rally and become true. Free brothers and sisters under the banner of the Sabbat. And I take a drink and I pass it to Raphael.
Take a drink and pass it.
Take a drink. Pass it.
Then I over to Trixie,
I take a drink and I pass it.
and then back over to the new member.
Backwash it is. I'll train the rest.
As you drink from the chalice, some of you might have experienced the blood bond before your entrance of the Sabbat. Some might have experienced the blood bond in your brief periods between the Valdery. This is different. You feel closer to everyone here. You feel almost as if you can anticipate what they're going to do. You feel you could complete their sentences, though this strong empathy will fade in a few moments. You feel as if you have been bound not in the slavery of the bond, but in a true brother and sisterhood. You have become joined as a single unit. And the predator and the beasts inside of you prowl more like a pack of wolves than the solitary predators that others would be. There is something different here. It is magic. It is something which you have only seen here in this sect. And through those words, that blood is sanctified, and this relationship and this pack are joined in a way that you have felt in no other way any other place. You feel an almost unique sensation amongst kindred and Cainites. You feel that these are people you can trust. And the veil of that magic slowly fades, but the feeling remains.
All right. So for the storyteller, for the sheet of paper, is it just an address, or are there any directions?
There is just an address. It
Oh.
is 531 East 5th Street.
Okay. I am going to use the GPS on my phone, and I'm going to type in 529 5th Street to see if I get a nearby address.
You get the address. The address of that particular in question is looks like to be some sort of tire shop.
Perfect. And I will look to the pack and say, everybody buckle up. Let's go.
By the way, the Nosferatu is also gone. You would have noticed that.
Yeah.
Very well.
And I will drive very safely.
15, it takes about 15 minutes to get there, maybe 20. Do you do anything special? Do you drive in a particular way? Does anyone else do anything to prepare?
I am going to drive in. I'm going to let my GPS reroute me a few times. So intentionally taking the wrong turn. Intentionally almost going down a one way and then coming back out. So giving a bit of a looking for a place vibe. Like I've got the wrong address. Oh no, let me turn here. Oh no, let me turn here.
Absolutely. Yeah, it works for me. Is anyone else doing anything to prepare or anticipate anything?
Well, I'm just kind of hanging out the window, doing that thing with my hand in the wind, just like grooving while we go down the street. And I said, I'm still really pissed off that we didn't go to New Orleans. Like, I really wanted to go there. We were right by it. And I know that Lullaby wanted to go too. So I think after we do this shit, whatever this shit is, we can stop by there at least and, party or something.
I'm always down for some beignets.
Thank you.
So you have my word that I will be a personal tour guide of sorts. Should we make our way towards Noah?
Haven't had French in a while.
And
If
if it's
we
all
are.
right with everyone, I might bring a little bit of that flavor here in the moment.
Ooh,
Oh.
I like flavor.
Darla, I'm assuming you're good at driving this thing in case things get complicated.
Oh yeah, I'm fine. I've done plenty of getaway cars in my day.
All right, let's see if you get away from this. Hopefully,
I can
everything will
drive
Yeah.
a stick. It's fine.
I'm
No.
going to, I brought something with me from the mountains, and I'm going to see if I can't get my friend here to cooperate now that we're closer to our destination. Y'all ever seen a poltergeist before?
I saw a movie once. It was a
Yeah, I
double
saw-
feature.
I saw that movie too, and somebody told me it was going to be scary, and it was like for kids.
No, it was funny.
It wasn't scary. You better do something scary, Lullaby.
I'll have it do things that are scary. Hopefully, it'll do it. And I'm going to, if you're okay, unless you want me to go out and get the fetter and whatnot, saying I'm assuming I have a guitar case full of all sorts of knickknacks that I use for these sort of ceremonies.
What are yours in your attention?
Right now, I want to use Compel Spirit, which is basically breaks down to me rolling to get this thing to do what I want. Well, have it in my service, I should say. The number of successes will determine how many things, or if anything, it will do for me. If this goes badly, well, we could take it from there.
Well, yeah. Well, I'm sure we'll explore that possibility together should it come up.
Yes. So essentially, I'm going to make my ceremony roll, which is my Oblivion plus resolve against the Wraith's resolve and composure. This particular kind has a resolve and composure of I think it would be their mental attribute, which is a 2.
Very well.
Right. Be all of my dice.
This is a contested roll, I'm assuming.
That is correct.
It had 3 successes.
I have 5. So that would mean there's 5 favors I can ask of this. Certain favors that go against it or are a little more extreme, sometimes take 2 or 3.
Whose ghost are you summoning?
This is a deceased worker, local Appalachian man. Well, local of where Lullaby spent most of his evenings. So he had managed to get something near and dear to them and then threaten that something near and dear to them. A memento of sorts, something of his family why he was doing his back-breaking work in the mines and whatnot.
Very well.
Something angry, something that's for now under my control.
Very well. You have a mining worker of many generations who you have threatened his family, and you have succeeded in getting whatever kind of service you can out of him through the use of his fetter. His fetter, by the way, is a locket of his wife's with his wife's picture in it.
Perfect.
You wrap it around your wrist, and he is yours, though you feel this brooding kind of energy. And so does everyone else inside the van. It is a very basic and almost apish sort of feeling.
Raphael, you got indigestion?
Excuse me?
More than
No, I
our
just-
usual type of brooding feeling.
He's
that
got
we
a
get.
weird feeling. Don't worry about it.
After humming throughout this ritual leading, I do have a Rouse check. Lullaby's getting hungry. Wait,
How much hunger are you at?
3.
Mm. There's definitely a gnawing inside of you. There's certainly, you do like dead things, but your beast inside of you is craving life. As you drive through East Austin, which is a collection of mostly 1 to 2 story buildings, there are a few newer subdivisions as gentrification has slowly overtaken what is traditionally a Black and Mexican American section of town. But for the most part, it is low buildings of 20 or 30 years old, made of cinder block, many mechanics houses, restaurants, and so forth, and several warehouses, a few outreaches for churches, and a considerable homeless population throughout the streets. And as you see these various people walk past, down on their luck, obviously not the kind of people which society takes the best care of, your beast tells you that this is the perfect sort of prey for you, that you could take everything you possibly could want from them and no one would notice. Subtlety be damned, you're hungry.
Who's feeling weird? Speak up now.
Lullaby, what are you doing over there?
I'm going to tune, make sure this angry gentleman who's in charge here. Speaking of who's in charge, you are, what do you call yourself? Ductus. You said to speak up if we got a hankering, and I've got the hankering.
What do you need?
Where I come from, I'm sure you've heard the tales of the lullaby man visiting people in their sleep, especially after they've lost someone near and dear. But we might need to speed up the process. I could be quick, and I can be, what was the word you kept using? Subtle? That's me.
Yes.
That's lullaby. I'll make sure Avery stays here and behaves himself.
I want to check nearby street signs. We're not on 6th Street or anything like that, right?
No, you're on 5th Street. The area which he's referring to is a good 10 blocks away when 1 block up. You're on 5th, but you're on East 5th, which is a good portion away from the main club district that's lined with bars and dance clubs and hotels. You are well outside of the rack.
Mhm.
Is there anything a little
Are we near
residential?
Yeah, I was gonna say, are we near a subdivision or one that I could see to drive to?
Not so much a subdivision as you see collections of homes that were obviously built during the 60s, 70s at the latest, that were for that are in various states of disrepair. Some are nicer than others. And you occasionally pass places where these have been demolished in order to create condo high rises. This is definitely an urban area. It is not a suburb, though
Are
it
there
does
any
have single family
homes?
homes.
Sorry, are there any homes with real estate signs out in front of them?
Indeed, there are.
I'm gonna park in front of one of the ones with a real estate sign.
Very well.
Just stop on the side, not pull into the driveway.
Very well. It has the roads do have a bike lane sort of area that you can easily, and parking spaces along the side. Parking is free after this time of night, the signs cheerily inform you.
I'm just gonna look back and go, you better be quick about it.
Yes. Be quick. Be discreet. Is anyone else hungry? Because I don't want to pull over again.
I don't like sharing.
I'm fine as long as I've got you all.
Yeah, I could use a bite.
Yeah.
Can I see somebody walking on the street right now?
Yes, you can see there is a relatively young man dressed in rather dirty clothes who's walking away after recently getting off of one of the metro buses.
Is he the only person I see?
There's a couple of others. There's 2 women who seem to be walking a dog together. 2 obviously double income, no kids, fresh from the condos, who work late and thus have to take care of the little creature which they've decided to foster.
Okay, I get out of the car and I approach the man that I see walking alone, and I hit him over the head with my crowbar. I'm trying to knock him out.
Subtlety.
Yeah, suddenly he gets knocked in the head. That's subtle.
Very well. Will you please? Well, first to make your approach, please give me dexterity plus stealth, if you do not mind.
Subtle crowbar upside the head.
Just team mom in the car.
Okay. 1, 2, 3 successes.
You handedly sneak up on the gentleman. Please roll strength plus melee.
Trixie's going golfing.
2, 3, and I have a crowbar advantage in my melee.
Very well.
I'm gonna see her doing this about a half second too late. Just like
4
She
successes.
She is a quick little minx, I'll tell you that much. You walk up behind him, and how many successes did you say?
4 on that last
4.
one.
He did not see that coming. He was simply walking from getting off of his job and walking to his home, and he is suddenly sprawled out on the ground, groaning slightly. There's an alleyway relatively close by, and you're about 15 feet away from the van.
Okay, I grab one of his legs and I go, Lullaby, he's sleeping. He's sleeping now. So come on. And I start dragging the body to the alley.
I'm gonna look at Raphael. You know, you almost had me going there for a second. Subtlety. I believed you. Then I'll go.
Trixie!
Raph, what are we gonna do with the kids?
Yeah, I'm gonna go as well.
Approach approach what Trixie drug in.
Very well. You've just dragged them into an alleyway.
Yeah. And when I see Lullaby approach, I go, there, okay, now I'm going back to the car. And I walk back to the car.
Swinging your crowbar with joyful abandon, or are you even bothering to put it away?
I'm like bored at this point. I'm like, just eat and come on, let's go do this.
Very well. You are at 3 hunger, Lullaby, and how much hunger are you at?
I'm at 2.
You could easily feed off of him and both reduce your hungers to 1. He would probably have to be hospitalized by such a blood loss, or one of you could kill him and be at none.
I'll just take a nip.
Lullaby,
I will take the remainder.
you are going to kill him.
Yes.
Very
Just
well.
a little bit.
Subtly.
He's going to be mostly dead. All right.
Mostly
Totally.
dead.
All right.
Bet a long night ahead.
So
Actually would probably kill him first and then feed, as I can feed from a corpse and prefer to do so. It's not an opportunity I get very often because I'm usually not attacking people in the streets, but if there's an opportunity to feed off a corpse, that might be a little too much for Lullaby to resist.
how do you dispatch of the young man?
Baxter's there, is correct?
Baxter is there, yeah.
Let's see your namesake, sir. I don't like to get my hands dirty. And I'm going to gesture to the hammer at your side.
Or you want to kill him?
I don't want to do anything. I'm just trying to feed. Do it.
All right. So I'll take one of my utility hammers and I'll just
Just bash his skull in.
bash his skull in.
He crumples over, completely lifeless shortly afterward. Did you feed before you did this for Lullaby?
Oh, I would have, yeah.
Very well.
I'm in no way, shape, or form that finicky.
Very well. You have a dead body full of lovely, lovely vitae.
And after I kill
And
him, I take out my ceremonial rag that I use to clean the blood chalice, and I clean off my hammer meticulously, and then put it back, and then go back to the van.
Very well.
And then
Then.
go ahead, sir.
Yeah,
Each
instantly.
person that gets back in the van is getting a mom stare.
Yeah, that moment of as soon as he passes into the Shadowlands is right when Lullaby is going to feast, and he's not going to clean up because he has no rag to do. Actually, in a somewhat mocking gesture, I'll take out a filthy, already stained rag. You're not sure what fluids were on it, used for some other grotesque ceremony, and I'll use that to smear some of the blood and wipe it and put it back in my pocket.
And you bite the gentleman at the neck, I'm assuming?
Wherever the opening is, if you bash the head in and brain matter and what's spilling out, I might just use the wound that's already there.
All right, you use the wound that's already there and the blood that's slowly collecting in the brain pan. That's thoroughly disgusting. I love it. Very well, then. You are down to 0 hunger dice, Lullaby. And Baxter, you are at 1.
Raphael, you got a good pack here.
I'm gonna look at him and go, "Did you take his belongings?"
I'm not a thief.
No, but you need to make it look like you fucking are. Go take his shit. You bashed
I
a
didn't
man's
do
head in.
Lullaby,
Look at
go
crowbar and hammer
get
here.
his wallet
Take his shit now.
and the two of you.
In case I need to summon his ghost later. I like the way you think too.
Get out there.
Go get his personal effects.
So after we're done getting this runner, we're gonna have a dear conversation about subtlety and what the word means.
What? What I do? What?
Trixie, subtlety doesn't mean sneaking up on people. Subtlety means being secretive. Like not killing people when we don't gotta.
Sneaking up on people is secretive.
He was hungry. He gotta eat, so I had to do it because we gotta.
Trixie,
To
Trixie,
be fair, in the future, Trixie, I can actually.
are you getting the man's wallet or not?
I have the wallet. I'm here. I'm ready to go.
Good.
My way of feeding is actually quite subtle if left to my own devices, but I thank you for the opportunity to
Trixie,
feed in
Trixie,
that manner.
Dollface, think about it this way. Subtlety means you need to behave like a little Camarilla lapdog, okay? I know,
Are you
it's
fucking
disgusting.
kidding me?
You know how they act all cloak and dagger and, oh, being a vampire is such a curse. Like, do that. Hide it.
Next thing you're gonna do is ask me to behave like some sort of poser anarch.
No,
It's
God,
funny that you
please.
say that.
What?
And
Don't.
on that line, we will take a break.
All right.
Perfect.
And scene.
During our break, like I said,
Oh.
Hello, and welcome to part 2 of our No Kindred Hungry live play. I am Matthew Webb, your storyteller. Currently, the pack of the Sabbat are moving towards their target, a warehouse on East 5th Street in Austin, Texas, that is held by the Camarilla, where a prisoner which they wish to retrieve is set. This is after they decided to get a little bite to eat at some poor young man's expense. And we begin our scene driving in the van, leaving the site where Baxter caved in someone's skull and
resemble that
Lullaby
remark.
drained it dry.
What part of subtlety did none of you understand?
I really. Is this a joke or are we actually?
Raphael, talk to the children before I crash this fucking car.
You
Well,
said subtlety, and then your own pack ran out with crowbars and hammers and did their thing. I thought that was like a joke, like nudge, nudge, wink, wink, subtlety. But
I'm sorry, I didn't know what the word meant. Okay, I thought you meant suddenly, like suddenly they're dead.
It's okay,
Suddenly
sweetheart.
there
You're
was a
forgiven.
crowbar.
Lullaby knows better. He
It's-
should.
done and over with. Next time I say be subtle when you go out and feed. Be subtle. Not use your hammer, priest.
Gotta
Anyway,
live
was
up to my
uncalled
name,
for.
right?
we're probably going to get a little messy out there. I don't believe our friend, Mr. Snowden, that this is going to be quick and easy. So your skills might be needed, Trixie.
Yeah, my skills will probably be needed, and I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I will tone down Trixie a little bit, okay? I will take who I am and I will tone that down, but do not tell me to act like some sort of poser anarch, okay? Because I'm not doing that.
Well, it is funny that you say that. Currently, right now, the Camarilla is having some issues with the Anarch. I do say if we are going to divert their attention for our cause, if it comes to it, we should say that we are with the cause and are raising a little anarchy.
Disgusting.
Okay.
Absolutely disgusting.
It is disgusting, but we do have a mission, and we should focus on it.
A mission
What
for
if
people
they,
who are probably going to kill us directly after. Keep that in mind.
What if they ask us for our, little Anarch membership shithead cards or whatever?
Yeah, I don't have a leather jacket with a big anarchy symbol on the back of it. You think an anarch walks around with priceless mink? No.
And let me just be clear here, leather jackets existed, it's not strictly an anarch thing to wear
Squares
leather
and
jackets. Like, I
rectangles,
wear
sweetheart.
one.
Squares and rectangles. Not all leather jackets are anarch, but all anarchs have a leather jacket.
Posers.
Exactly.
Well,
But anyway, we're near our destination.
please, children, don't make me discipline you.
And I am going to pull into the parking lot of the tire shop.
Very well. The tire shop looks like it was constructed from a former gas station. They removed the pumps and decided just to keep the garage. Across the street, you see, and one building down from it, past a liquor store with barred windows and a 24-hour sign on open sign on the front of it. You see a short, squat little warehouse made of panel metal. It's surrounded by a fence, which seems to have been made of the exact same metal, probably leftovers from its construction. It's got rust around the various bolts that indicate it's been there for quite a while, and barbed wire winds itself around the edges. It has a very large roll gate in front of it. It looks like it's hooked up to a motor that is also solid metal. The warehouse itself sits at one side of a plane of asphalt, and the other side seems to have multiple marked spaces in it. You can't see that far over the fence to tell whether or not anyone was parked there, though. And the fence itself is solid sheet metal.
I could have Rose take a peek if you'd like. See what's on the other side of the fence. Report back.
Can he see over it?
I'm gonna lift his hat. We'll see a tarantula resting underneath. It'll crawl down his face a bit, not his hands.
Oh, he's cute. I like him.
Likes you too. If you have a second to spare, I'll have Rose take a look.
What do you think, Ruff?
Send your spider.
I'll rest my hand outside the window, and this is my homuncular servant.
Very well.
And move on vertical things. They need to stay within, I believe, 100 yards of me, feet of me. I'm just gonna have them peek over the fence, come back, and with
How
the link I
intelligent
have
is this thing?
It is. I think the habits. Has a mental 1. Essentially, they have senses. They're not good for much else besides observing things and telling you about them.
They have a basic
it is a
comprehension of
mental
color and
score.
space.
Yeah,
Very
mental
well.
score of 1.
They have the understanding of a 6-year-old. That's enough to go by. Very well. Your little creature hops down. It moves not with the speed one might expect from an insect. It is fairly large and clumsy, and climbs up the one edge of the fence, peeks over to no effect, maneuvering between the barbed wire, and then crawls back down and skitters back towards the van. It looks at you, and does it talk or does it simply communicate mentally?
No, it's in my head.
In your head.
I act like it talks, but I probably listens closely, have it right up to his ear.
Very well. Your little creature informs you that there are 2 cars sitting in the parking lot. Both of them are big, but different kinds of big.
I'll tuck her back underneath my hat, give her a little scratch. We got 2 cars waiting on the other side in the parking lot there. Big, but 2 different kinds of big.
Well, I guess it's time to get our hands dirty. I take off my suit jacket and start rolling up my sleeves. Now,
Going to take off my fur and fold it very carefully.
Keeping my fur on. I like to look good when these things happen.
I don't have any fur, and that's weird to say as a gangrel.
None that you can take off. But the night's still young, you might get some beast traits.
so the warehouse is completely encompassed by this fence?
It either the fence goes across the front of the lot that is on. One side of the parking lot ends in the cinder block side of the building that's next to it. It seems to be a repair shop of some sort, appliances, that sort of thing. And the back is similarly walled off with this panel, metal panel fencing. And so and the other side of the lot meets the wall of the liquor store, which is adjoining to it.
Okay.
The size of it is about 2 basketball courts would be about the size of the entire thing.
What does the gate of it look like?
It looks like those kind that roll to the side when they have
Okay,
some
so
sort of
like
motor pulley.
Is it chain link?
No, it is also
Okay.
made out of a similar panel metal.
Okay.
Newer though, so obviously this was installed earlier. There is a keypad next to it on a little metal pipe, and it has a yellowing plastic cover over it to keep it out of the rain.
Well, if there's vehicles waiting on the other side of that fence, maybe we should go around the back.
Yeah. Do you think we need a distraction?
Avery's always up for the task.
Well, you could send Avery up to the front and have him I don't know, meander around the keypad. Maybe that might draw attention. While the rest of the pack goes around back and finds another way in.
Can we see any security cameras from where we are?
Give me a wits plus technology roll.
It's plus technology. Okay.
Or larceny, whichever you wish.
Everybody or
She is actively looking. If you would like to lean up against the front of the van windows and do so, you may as well.
So that's 2 successes.
There are definitely security cameras. One is one of those white globe kind. It's been bolted to the fence near the keypad. And there's several others which are attached high on the warehouse itself.
Okay. We got 3 bogeys, so we're going to have to account for that. Anybody getting within a camera shot of that building better account for it.
Well, luckily, I don't do well on film. Let's see here. All right, Lullaby, send your thrall to the front gate. Pack, let's go around the back. Once we find a way inside, Priest, I want you to run recon. Scout out ahead and report back what you find.
You got it, boss.
We'll follow through after that.
I'm going to put up Silence of Death.
Very well.
Avery, go ahead and meander around that area over there. If anyone approaches you, do try to behave, but do what you gotta do.
So,
I will also do Silence of Death as well.
very well. Trying to remember if that is a rouse check or not.
It's not. It's a free and
Okay.
can only be.
Yeah, it's a level 1.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
just, it's a simple level 1.
I will be
Excellent.
doing that as well, and Sense the Unseen, which is a rouse check. Which I get to reroll because of blood potency. So I'm good.
What kind of uniforms are in the truck?
They are for a cleaning company, Clark's Industrial Cleaning Corporation,
Okay.
Can we
Houston,
detect
Texas.
can we detect if it's like those like the cleaning companies that come for restaurant companies to clean the floors, or is it like an actual, like, we come in and we clean the facility kind of place, like a drop off, or is it on site?
You definitely get the sense that these are these jumpsuits that somebody who would come in with heavy equipment of some sort, and the industrial cleaning is definitely kind of a hint there. The Houston, Texas line that's on the logo is the only giveaway. The entire thing looks very generic.
Okay.
Let's see here. So I see the rest of my pack use obfuscate, because that's what's happening right now.
I'm just Silence of Death,
Silence of
so
Death.
I can still be seen. I just can't be detected by sound.
Gotcha. I'm gonna start getting dressed in one of the jumpsuits.
So did you say you said Sense the Unseen, or did you mean Unseen Passage? Baxter.
I am Unseen Passage, and I'm also activating Silence of Death.
Very well.
So that is a rouse check.
I'm sorry, Raphael, you were saying.
I'm going to start putting on one of the cleaning uniforms.
Very well. There is one that fits you as much as these general sort of coveralls do.
Trixie.
And that's not in any way flattering.
Trixie.
Gray and green.
No, I know you said you don't want to be an Anarch. What about the help?
I think I'll just wear what I'm wearing.
Well, it's going to look rather peculiar that myself in a suit is approaching a building like this, and I think we should try to be somewhat subtle. Don't you agree?
Fine.
Think about it this way. Later, we can burn it and it'll be a ton of fun.
Okay, that sounds good.
There you
I
go.
take it off and I put on the the uniform.
And I succeeded on the rouse check for the unseen passage.
Very well. You flitter out of existence.
I am
The-
not going to bother with a suit because I know I don't look like it from the neck up.
So you are not putting on the coveralls. You are simply walking out as you are.
I'll get to that.
All right.
I do bring my crowbar with me still.
Are you just trying to slip it into the coveralls in order to hide it, or are you just carrying it in your hand?
Will it fit in the pocket?
Kinda, sorta. It will definitely be sticking out, but it won't fall out.
I'm just gonna carry it.
All right. You just carrying a crowbar out.
I'm going to wait for them to get out.
All right. Lullaby, what are you up to?
I also did sense our unseen passage and silence of death, so I'm joining the priests and being unseen.
Very well. And what about your little friend? Your other little friend, the corpse.
Avery?
Mm-hmm.
He's been sent to, I believe the orders were meander around the keypad, around that front gate, see if anyone approaches, if they see someone at the gate.
Very well.
Yeah.
So you see the corpse starts walking, shambling forth. How is your friend dressed?
In one of the uniforms from the van.
Ah, very clever. There's now only one uniform left. And by the way, Trixie, this definitely was not made for someone of your size and build. It's very parachutey on you.
It's a little baggy.
It's okay. Think about all the weapons you could hide in it if you wanted.
You always seem to make things better.
That's what I'm here for, dear.
The corpse zombie meanders over and just starts, as you have told it, to kind of wander back and forth, left and right in front of the keypad, almost robotically, doing the same path over and over and over again, right down to the steps.
That's my boy.
All right. Well, I want to start making my way towards the back.
Very well.
All of us to follow you, or do you want someone to keep an eye on Avery?
I'll keep an eye on him, trust me.
All right, Pack. Let's get moving.
You know, for some reason, ever since I drank that, I do trust you. Let's go.
I'm going to go behind Raphael.
Very well. There is a short, thin alleyway. You can barely stand abreast of shoulders to get to the back of the place. You looking down it, you go past the cinder block of the liquor store, and it has the flat metal panel fencing right up against it. However, it is extremely tight. You would have to stand sideways to stand side by side inside of this cramped space with a slow meandering trickle of water down the middle of it. Probably the runoff of some sort of gutter. You were saying?
Oh, I was going to say, once they're clear and out of sight, I am going to get out of the car with my silence of death, go around the tire building, and come out from a different alleyway, doing my best white girl wasted stumble. Just walking down the street, just living life and vibing, but keeping an eye on Avery at the front and making my way towards the liquor store. Like I want to buy some more liquor.
Very well. Please give me a manipulation plus subterfuge roll.
Oh, good. I'm good at that.
It's always good to make your plans according to your abilities.
All right. So that's going to be 4 successes with 1 as a critical.
You look like you've been hammering the white claw quite liberally, and you have to get drunk on that stuff. You feel you are very convincing. The rest of you have found this alleyway, and How subtle are the two visible people being about going into it?
Um, Not really subtle at all. I mean, I'm trying to be as stealthy as I can, um, but definitely not to. I want to walk with confidence, if if that makes sense.
Act like you belong.
Yeah.
With a
All right.
purpose.
No one seems to really notice you. It is a fairly deserted street. You do see some people standing at a bus stop, but it's like a full block away down the other axis of the street. So a few moments pass after you have stumbled towards the liquor store, and you're able to see this. Uh, wherein, so Darla is able to see this, where you hear the rattling of the gears of the automatic gate opener working, and then stop much shorter than it would have to, a much shorter time than it would have to open up completely at the leisurely pace such things usually move. And you see someone step out to inspect Avery.
Okay.
That the gentleman in question is dressed in a black button-up shirt and black jeans, and has a variety of things attached to his belt. Looks like there's also a knife scabbard attached openly, but here in Texas, such things are simply allowed.
Does the parking lot of the liquor store connect to the parking lot of the warehouse?
The parking lot, there is no parking lot for the liquor store. It is a corner store in the traditional urban sense. What parking it has is street parking.
Okay. But is it reasonable to change what I'm saying? Is it reasonable to walk from in front of the liquor store to in front of the warehouse?
Absolutely. There's a large
Okay.
sidewalk, and there's more things down the road from this.
Okay, once the guy is out and fully visible, I'm going to start stumbling in that direction and let my ankle fully roll and scream as I fall.
So the gentleman in question, give me a wits plus awareness roll, please.
Okay. Uh 2 successes, 1 critical.
2 successes, 1 critical. As you get closer to him, you start seeing a few things of interest. What seems to be a plain black shirt is actually embroidered with various designs in black. Not what you would see the flowery designs one would expect on, say, a cowboy shirt or something, but various Celtic knots of some sort. Are you familiar in any way with symbols of the occult or anything of that nature?
Yes, I am.
Very well. Um, I'll just tell you then.
I have
You,
cursory knowledge. I don't have super intricate knowledge.
you're not quite a Tremere.
Yeah.
You has various Celtic knots, things that seem like they're wards, and he has things like silver thread, threaded embroidered symbols in the cuffs of his shirt. The dagger, which he has a fine polished antler handle onto it that is inscribed with various symbols as well. This does not seem to be your average individual by any standard, and he is staring quite intensely at Avery. He looks over at you at your scream.
And I'm gonna scramble a little bit and hold on to my leg. Be like, oh no, I'm bleeding. Can you help me up, please?
Manipulation plus subterfuge, please.
All right, that's 3 successes. Thank God.
Well, he seems briefly convinced.
I'm just holding out my hand. Please help me up. It really hurts.
He looks at you for a moment, and then his hand proceeds to the hilt of his knife. He unclips the strap which holds it. He holds it up and says, "That's a really interesting act you're putting on there, Lick."
And I am going to use compel,
Very well.
which is free.
Hmm.
Let's see. It's my charisma and dominate versus his intelligence and resolve.
Yes.
So, and then, well, there's a lot of dice for me. um, 5 successes, 2 of which are critical.
And your hunger dice, are they critical as well?
No, thank God.
Very well then. So how many total did you say? Sorry.
5 in total, 2 of which are critical.
All right. Well, amazingly, the you feel your mind reach out to compel this, obviously a kindred, considering how he's able to resist you, unless he was a particularly well prepared mortal, which he isn't. What are you attempting to compel him to do?
I'm going to compel him to come help me up.
You reach into his mind, you attempt to force it, and you are slapped right back out.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
And then things begin to happen. So, the first thing you see him do is he takes the knife out and runs it quickly across his palm.
Mm-hmm.
The blood covers that edge of the blade, and you hear him mutter a few phrases in a language you don't understand and you somewhat doubt was ever created by a human. Are you familiar with thaumaturgy at all? Blood
Yes.
sorcery? You have seen this be done before by Tremere and Assamites. Banu Kim.
Mm-hmm.
What would you like to do now that your compulsion has ended or has failed?
I am going to trigger a premonition.
You're attempting to use a premonition on him, or
In general, not focused on him.
Very well done.
So a rouse check. I
Yes,
fail.
please. You
I am
get
at
hungry.
I am now at 3.
Very well done.
And she's probably also seen me do it once because I ate a Tremere once. So
Yeah. And then I think, yeah, it's resolve and aspects. But I'm just triggering a general one. So is that my roll or yours?
Yep. No, you may make the roll.
Okay, resolve and aspects. Right. So that is 3 successes.
All right. You reach out your mind to look at him. This is a man of, you can tell that this is a vampire, obviously. He is someone of not incredible power, but no one to be trifled with. That he is a warrior of some sort, and that he is currently extremely annoyed with you.
Good.
He moves towards you with the knife,
Mm-hmm.
and he reaches in and unclips a radio from his other part of his belt.
Mm-hmm.
And he simply says, "There's trouble at the front gate."
And I'm just gonna laugh and go, trouble, I'm fucking drunk. Okay. Can you believe this guy? He won't even help a lady up.
Are you attempting to cause a scene, as it were?
Yep.
All right.
I need to get enough humans over here.
So the people at the bus stop that I mentioned earlier kind of pick up as you scream like this.
Where's this southern
And-
hospitality I've been hearing about? Doesn't that exist in Texas? Man won't even help out the lady. My leg's all fucked.
He looks at you and says, "Be silent." And it's his turn to try this.
And what am I rolling against again? It's my intelligence and resolve. Okay.
That's right. His charisma plus dominate versus your intelligence. His intelligence. Your intelligence plus resolve.
Okay.
How many successes did you get?
3 successes, 2 critical.
So 5 total.
Yes.
Okay. You managed to resist the compulsion into his brain. Meanwhile, you hear a door clattering shut. So let us pause that moment of the scene and
Yes.
let's go to the back. You make your way with confidence, as you have said, Raphael, down the alleyway, pretty much having to move single file. And you come to the back fence. And then you hear the shouts and various things coming from Darla, along with radio chatter happening from both the front and from within the building. You hear a metal door open and slam. You cannot see over the fence.
Quick question. Just quick question.
Yes.
Sorry, storyteller. Does the rite that we did also connect them to the Madness Network?
No, it does not. It
Okay.
does give you a strong sense of empathy for one another, but it does not open up the Madness Network or the Malkavians.
Okay, so the empathy you're getting from me is like, fuck!
I hear right on the other side of the fence, we hear this door.
Yeah.
Immediately grabbing Rose, throwing her over the fence.
Do you have a telepathic connection with this creature at all times?
Within 100 feet, yes.
Very well, then. You throw Rose over, and you see 2 people jumping out of the warehouse and moving at a brisk jog towards the front gate. Both of them are dressed in business suits of a sort, not of particularly expensive ones.
Darla's going to need our help, Raphael, but the coast might be clear if you want to head inside, too.
Well, since subtlety's out the window again,
Don't
I'm gonna
help me.
rip off the jumpsuit. I'm going to. Trixie, do you think you can clear this fence?
Wait, you wore clothes under your jumpsuit?
Yes.
Fuck, man! I didn't know. I got nothing on under here. I gotta leave this thing on.
It's fine. Leave it on. I'm just trying to be more mobile.
What you want? Okay, you want me to? You want to go over there past the fence? Yeah.
Do you think you can clear it?
Yeah, I can clear the fence, and then I grab the fence and I use uncanny grip to rip it apart. All I need to do is a rouse check,
Yes, you do.
and I failed.
So the sound of rending aluminum is heard as the siding, as you take a grip of the seam and 2 under the pieces of the paneling and rip it open. It starts ripping and in fact pops loose of the nails long before you do any other feats of strength. And the 2 panels fall off with a, are you holding on to them or are you simply tossing them aside?
Just toss it aside.
Very well. The 2 panels clamber together like a giant's cymbals, clattering with a massive metal sound.
Subtlety.
Let's just
For
get
those
going.
of you who have ever heard sheet metal clang against concrete, the sound could wake the dead.
Avery.
I'm going to hear that and be like,
So we're around back, right?
Yes.
Okay. How far is it from where we're at to the building?
Oh, you're less than 10 feet away from it where you ripped it out. It butts almost immediately against it.
Okay. Is there any doors leading into the warehouse or
There's a pale metal door, which is probably the one you heard swing open and close. And basically, you're at the corner of the warehouse that is closest to the fence, yet facing the parking lot. You see an SUV and a van, both of them painted gray, a dark gray, that is parked in the parking lot. You see two individuals who were running towards the front entrance, but both of which have turned to look at the incredible cacophony which suddenly appeared behind them. There is a pale white door, reinforced metal, that is with a metal handle is set into the side of the warehouse.
Okay. I'm gonna start jetting towards the door.
Very well. Are you moving with any supernatural speed, or are you simply running as fast as possible?
I will. If it'll help me clear it faster, I'll soaring leap.
You can definitely soaring leap right through the wreckage of the fence and jump right to it.
Mhm.
So, doing so, however, reveals to the two individuals exactly what you are. Both of them pull what seemed to be some sort of submachine gun. Silenced for subtlety. Trixie, what are you doing?
The second. Oh, yes.
Yeah, now that you've seen the fearless leader leap forth.
The second I see them pulling the machine guns, I use traversal. I basically try to run across the building wall toward them quickly,
well.
kind of create a distraction from Raphael.
That is an extremely distracting thing to do.
I'm a little distracting.
Trixie and I have similar methods. They just don't always work out the same ways.
Are you using blink or anything else to go with any like
Cat's
immediate
Grace,
speed? Okay.
and traversal, and yeah.
Very well. Please make a rouse check and dexterity plus athletics roll.
Okay. Oops. Whoops. I just roused on the floor, and I passed.
More dice count.
Dex and athletics, right? Is that it? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. 6. Come on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Very well. You jet quite nicely. Your boots rattling up against the side of the sheet metal building, making what few thought was possible even more noise. And your flappy, overdone coveralls flapping in the wind at your incredible speed. Lullaby. You have certainly witnessed a series of events.
Subtle
What
events.
is your intention?
I think these two have this figured out. Something about my boy being left alone up front when things seem to be situations occurring. I'm gonna invisibly and quietly just mosey on up that way to see what's happening with Darla and Avery.
All right, you're moseying past the SUV and the van at no particular urgency. Just trying to get to the gate.
I'll glance towards to see if there's anyone else. I'm assuming I can see the Kindred with the bone-handled instrument. I'm gonna see if there's anyone else lingering.
Other than the two people in the cheap suits and the Kindred with the knife drawn and bloodied, you don't see anyone else out front.
I'm gonna, yeah, he'll be able to hear me, but I'm gonna sort of from a whisper from near, a whisper shout from near the vehicles. Avery, get over here.
Avery's head lilts up, kind of does, and immediately begins to do as you say.
So I'll be behind this individual who's having a little tit for tat with Darla. So he'll.
How many people have I called over with my scene?
You have more attracted interest than movement at this particular moment. There are several people who have been coaxed out of their urban haze in order to look over at what seems to be an altercation
Can
between a
they
very loud person and another.
can they all see my eyes?
They're about a block away. Seeing your eyes in particular, I really doubt you can use your powers of compulsion on them at this distance.
Okay. I am
It
going
seems like this location was chosen because it's not exactly frequently traversed.
I am going to attempt, because we've been here for a couple minutes now.
A little bit.
I'm going to attempt to compel again.
It's been about a minute since all this started,
Okay.
since your last attempt to do so.
Okay.
He has drawn a dagger, you have started shouting, and during that time is when the events, shortly afterward, the events that are happening in the parking lot now are occurring.
Then I am going to scramble towards the liquor store, screaming, for sake of everyone. I won't actually scream, but screaming, "This man has a knife. He's trying to hurt me."
Very well. You certainly, with that statement, do excite a little bit more activity from what is going on.
Yeah, just somebody please help me. This man, I asked for help and he pulled a knife and he's trying to kill me.
Do a quick luck roll for you there. That will have consequences shortly. Now, Baxter, what would you like to do?
Is there one of the two cheap suit guys that's a little bit ahead of the others, like a little closer to Raphael?
They're standing about 2 or 3 feet apart. They were running together and they stopped and turned around. And currently Trixie is moving towards them at great flappy speed.
In that case, the one that I could probably figure out which one she's probably going to hop on or
There's one that's
kill.
definitely closer to the wall.
Okay. For the other one, I'm going to extinguish Vitae on him.
Extinguish Vitae. How did you guys get so much lovely stuff?
I ate a Tremere one.
That's just rude. So
I forgot the clan of who I ate.
So it is a rouse, I believe.
Yes.
A 6. Nice.
Please roll your intelligence plus
intelligence and blood sorcery,
please.
Yeah. Let's see what we got here. Three and 2. That is 4 successes.
Are any of them criticals?
One of them is a 10, but other than that, yeah, it's not like the critical success.
Well, a critical win is any win that includes a critical, a 10 roll, so critical
All
success.
right.
So you have successfully increased this gentleman's hunger by 2. He looks visibly, suddenly more vampiric and paler. So now it's the Tremere's turn, or whatever he is that has drawn this knife on you. He looks over at Avery and, in passing, simply reaches out and touches Avery. How many health levels does your friend have, Lullaby?
Avery is what shout out to Cult of the Blood Gods calls an aggressive corpse. They take damage like a kindred. They have 6 health.
6 health. Very well. The gentleman in question, knife still in hand, walks over, licks his hand, touches the corpse, and unfortunately for Avery, he suddenly begins popping blood vessels, boiling off, and he drops like a bag of hammers onto the floor, smoking with a reddish haze. For those of you with some familiarity, this is a rather potent Tremere trick.
That's a rather potent Tremere trick you got there.
I want to eat that guy.
Well, I'll
And
be
he
seeing you then.
He turns away from you, Darla, and he starts walking back, or moving with haste back into the gap that he made in the fence with the gate. He obviously has dismissed you as being something to be concerned about at the moment.
Perfect.
After removing the zombie from play. So
I real quick, I am going to go back across the street in the roundabout way that I did to go back to the cot. And what's the open carry in Texas?
You can open carry if you're licensed to do so, and if a cop asks you, you have to give the license or show the permit.
All right. I am going to go to my fur and I am going to take out my incendiary round pistol and tuck it in my bra.
Very well then. You have your pistol. That will take a few moments though, so you'll be a
Yes.
few rounds.
As I
Now,
witness this, can I bring in that locket that I've had around my wrist? If you don't want a similar fate to befall your family, why don't you help me take care of this guy and we'll be even, yeah? I'm gonna get the poltergeist to rouse him into action against this individual.
very well. That will be your round's action to get this thing orders and compel it to do so. Raphael, you are at the door. What do you want to do?
Is it unlocked?
Yes, it is.
Okay, I'm gonna go inside.
You go inside. It is a large sort of space. Not very much in here for a warehouse. It has chains hanging from the ceiling. It has various boxes that are on shelves, and you see a large metal covering of that with that textured pattern that's used for flooring, with a large lock on it that looks like it's covering. It's long, oblong against one side, and you could rightly guess it probably covers a stairwell down.
Okay.
It has a large master lock on it of very professional level one, the kind that says "Go away. This is too expensive for you to get past."
Going to go over to where it's locked at, and I will use prowess to break it.
Very well.
Let's see here. So go ahead and rouse check for it. It is a level 2 power, so
So if you use prowess, you'll get your potence added to your strength, and you will have to roll for strength to rip the lock apart with your
pass
bare hands.
my rouse check for it.
Mm-hmm.
So 3, 6. Is it just the strength, or are you doing strength and athletics?
So let's do strength plus. Well, I think this is a raw strength.
It's raw strength, sure.
plus strength,
Okay.
plus your potence.
All right. That is 2 successes.
You
And
managed
one bestial.
one bestial failure.
Mhm.
All right. Well, you succeeded, so luckily. However, this will take a little bit longer to rip apart with your bare hands. Maybe you should have hit the gym a little bit more before you were embraced. So, meanwhile, Trixie, you are Trinity walking with great flair, though not dressed in pleather, but instead dressed in a big flappy coverall. And you are upon these two gentlemen that are wielding submachine guns, Uzis basically, with rather large silencers on the front of them. You You could probably get on top of one of them before the other could fire at you. What would you like to do?
I'm going to use, let's see, fleetness to come up on them quickly, which is just a rouse check, and I fail. And then I'm going to hit one in the head with my crowbar.
Very well. Roll dexterity plus melee, please.
All right. There it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 successes.
Damn. All right then.
I know.
Well, you land quite handedly on this person. You hop off the wall and you slam him in the head with your crowbar. He folds like a suit that is cheaper than the one he is wearing. However, his friend, having witnessed this event, decides that he needs to shoot you a lot. Please roll dexterity plus athletics, please.
Fuck. 3.
You actually managed. He's obviously was caught quite off guard by your sudden assault, and he sprays the wall of the warehouse with a hail of bullets. Unfortunately, none of them hit you. He is not in complete control of his weapon. The bullets are silenced, though a silencer in this regard simply makes it not sound very ear-breaking. And it's still a rather loud sound, like a series of very quick car backfires.
I use.
Sorry.
I use mesmerize on him.
Wait a second. Did you have silence of death up, Trixie? Did you?
No.
Okay. All right. So yes, you do hear the sound of the gunfire. Raphael, from your position of trying to open the lock, you suddenly see streams of street light come in as bullets pepper the side of the thin sheet metal, and explode various cardboard boxes, and make lovely sparking sparks against the beam supports and so forth. Nowhere close to you yet.
Kids, what are you gonna do?
The second I hear the gunfire, I'm just going to, for nobody but myself, on the off chance someone is looking, just, what the fuck was that? And take off running to go down the alleyway around the back of the warehouse.
Very well. Baxter, however, we have an action for you.
All right. I'm going to try to do multiple things at once because I can do that with rapid reflexes and blink. So for my rapid reflexes, I want to pop the claws for my bonus action.
Very well. You have activated your primeval weapons,
which is a super failed rouse check. And then I'm going to blink over to the guy that shot at Trixie and stab him in all of his face holes.
Very well. You attempt to stab him in all his face rolls. That will be a Dex plus Brawl, please.
Would I be able to use grappling? Probably not, but that's okay.
This isn't quite a grapple. This is more of a grasping as if a bowling ball, which I don't quite think is covered.
4 and then 3. Okay. While I do that, I'm going to be like, stop shooting her, you little bitch. And that is 1, 2, 6 successes.
All right. You manage to grab him about the face. His eyes pretty much explode underneath your hand, and you manage to dislocate his jaw as you pull forward. He stumbles backward. He is not dead, but he's certainly having a very bad day. And you see the gentleman in the in the black shirt with all the embroidery on it kind of take a step back at the scene that is unfolding before him. Meanwhile,
did I pop both of his eyes just to double check, or just the one?
You maybe.
Okay.
It's not like you are pausing to inspect your work, but you feel like you've done a good job here. You feel very satisfied with how you've served the Sabbat today. So the man with the knife looks at the collection of people in front of you, and then was obviously trying to pull something out from his coat when his knife suddenly flies across the parking lot and rattles against the ground out of his grasp. And he does not look happy with how his night is turning out. But he does pull something out of his coat. He does something like this sort of gesture and puts it to his mouth quickly. And then he leaps onto the wall of the repair shop next to him and clings there and starts to scramble up the side. So, first off, Raphael, you have a walk that you're having a bad relationship you're trying to get out of with. Please roll double strength assisted by your potence.
Oh, so I was supposed to roll not. Oh, so
yes, a straight attribute roll is usually strength plus the number doubled.
Okay. So hopefully this is better. 7 successes.
Very well then. Master Lock U57 model Play-Doh. You rip it apart and you have this this grating of sorts has been lifted. Trixie, you have a stumbling man who has huge gangrel gashes in front of his face. Yeah. Your friend has rendered him at least blind in one eye, and he tried to shoot at you a few moments ago. I'm sure you have a completely rational and staid response to this particular situation.
And subtle.
Totally. I jump on him and start feeding from his neck.
Ooh, nice. Are you using what is it called? Vicious feed or brutal feed?
No.
Or are you simply doing so? Very well then. Roll strength plus brawl, please.
Okie dokie. And then what is my brawl? Okay. Wait, I gotta put up. 1, 2, 3.
Very well then. You manage to grapple him and you are feeding off of him. What is your hunger?
Ooh. This is Trixie feeding.
Yeah.
I'm
frightened. I'm frightened. I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm frightened. But what is your current hunger?
2.
Very well. So are you going to attempt to consume him utterly? Diablerize him or simply kill him?
I'm just going to kill him.
You're just going to kill him. Raphael, you need to talk to her about being a good Sabbat.
As a question, is this the guy that I have my claws in at the moment?
You ripped into his face and he stumbled backward.
Okay.
He pulled himself free rather than you having a bowling ball head by which to wrap him around with.
Okay.
So, but yeah, you clawed the guy good, and Trixie has leapt upon this gentleman and is feeding off of him and is likely going to kill him. In fact, he falls to the ground with having taken a considerable amount of damage already. Lullaby, your poltergeist seems to have done his work, but your friend that you sicked him on is making a escape up the wall and across the roof of the adjoining building quickly.
I'm going to coax the poltergeist could do up to 4 things this scene essentially because they're well.
Right.
I'm going to coax him to just get him down the hard way. They have a brawl pool of 7. They deal non-half superficial with a +2 damage mod.
Why don't you roll for your poltergeist real quick?
6, 7. That is a critical with a 5 total.
So this gentleman seems to be surprisingly either very lucky or very strong, because you see and you sense your poltergeist servant reaching for him to grasp him, but he does not succeed at pulling him down, and in fact rebuffs the attempt to a certain extent. In fact, your ghost friend seems to actually have been grievously or unnaturally harmed in the attempt to grasp the gentleman.
Lords. All right, he's someone else's problem now.
Baxter.
I will become visible, drop the unseen passage, and point to where he's getting away. So I got one way to help, but it ain't subtle. I'll kick open my case and start removing a shotgun.
Have I come back around?
Baxter gets a move, and then you can arrive at the gate.
Got it.
All right.
Baxter.
Trixie. Throw me after him.
What?
Throw me against that guy.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I do it.
The old classic toss the gangrel.
Yeah. why
Fastball
not?
Fastball special.
Their signature move.
Strength plus athletics, please, Trixie.
Oh right, that's a good roll for me. Surprise, surprise.
Trixie responding to the storyteller in character. Does she have Deadpool power?
She's all over the place. All right, here we go.
Canon accepted.
3.
Very well. You have tossed him onto the roof, and the Tremere has arrived on top of the roof as well. So when you arrive, Darla sees the opening in the gate is still open. The Tremere and Baxter are both on the roof of the adjoining repair shop, and Lullaby and Trixie are standing in the parking lot.
What people that aren't us are around?
There's a few people which have kind of moved away from the bus stop to look at the commotion and at the various sounds. They're a good half block away, though. If you slipped into the parking lot, and you would be out of their sight.
Okay, I'm gonna slip in, and can I see Raphael?
Raphael is in the building at the moment.
Okay, I am going to make my way into the building. Just first available entrance I find. And I'm going to keep
towards it.
I'm going to keep one hand on my chest.
On your chest?
Mm-hmm.
Ah, yes, because your gun is there. All right.
Just not drawing it yet, just demure lady.
So, the only kind of active action right now is the 2 gentlemen in the suits are dead. The zombie is dead. The only action is going on the repair roof. The Tremere seems to be trying to make as much of an escape as he can as quickly as possible over the rooftops. Does anyone want to pursue them? Or obviously, Baxter, you're up there, but the rest of you are down at street level. Raphael currently has a grate that he has successfully opened, but has not explored the basement yet.
I'm going to stay in the parking lot and just kind of like keep my eyes on Baxter and what's going up on the roof, just in case I'm needed up there.
Very well. Lullaby?
It looks like actually, Trixie, do you mind
What, you want me to throw you up there?
I mean, I guess that's what you guys do, yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's
Climbing
what
up there
I'm here
myself.
for. All right.
Strength plus athletics, please.
Funny how everybody wants me to be subtle until they want to be thrown onto a roof, you know?
All right, let's go.
Like, okay. Oh, I got 1, 2, 3, 3 successes again.
You manage to toss him onto the roof. You are grasping the side of the roof as you are tossed up. So, however, Raphael and Darla are inside the building.
Have I managed to find Raphael yet? Can I see him at all?
Oh, he's quite obvious. He's simply standing in the middle.
Okay, I'm gonna run right up to him and just be like, I swear to God, what are we gonna do?
Well, let's hurry up and get out of here. I'm going to start exploring, see if I can start exploring the basement or the lower
All
level.
right, you open it up. It is a set of cement stairs going down into a dry, stale-aired basement. There are fluorescent caged lights for which there's a switch at the base of the stairs, which you can easily flip on if you wish to.
Yeah, I'll flip it on.
Very well. This is a completely barren cement basement. It has a series of pillars, cement pillars, obviously meant to support the upper floor. And you see chained against various walls with stakes to their hearts 2 individuals. One is a young woman in a leather vest and t-shirt and studded jeans. And the other one is a older sort of man with a scraggly beard, a darker complexion, wearing motorcycle leathers.
Do they appear clearly torpid or just dead?
They're staked to the heart. So,
yes. Well, more like, are they freshly dead, or can we tell that it's like just not there?
It's not there. They are under the paralysis of the stake.
Okay. Just gonna go, Raphael, we need to get them.
All right. Do I still have paralysis activated?
Yes.
All right. I want to start to take them off the chains.
And I'm gonna take out my gun.
If you just simply take half and take your time at this point, you can simply pull these chains apart with your increased strength.
Okay.
Or at least pull. It's actually easier to pull the spikes out of the wall.
Okay. Then I'll pull the spikes of the wall and get them loose.
Very well, then. Do you unstake them or do you leave them as they are?
I'll leave them as they are and just start dragging them with my prowess. And I'm just going to drag them like rag dolls. I'm going to clear as much space as I can, even if I have to use Sword and Leap.
All right.
I'm going to follow him, keeping cover with my gun.
All right. Getting them out will take a few rounds, and we have some fun on the rooftop to handle. I hear Fun on the Rooftop is opening for South by Southwest this year. So the Tremere is attempting to leave with haste and seems to be trying to move as fast as possible to do so. What would you like to do, Baxter? You were up here first.
That's cute. Am I close to the edge when he comes up?
He is running away from you.
Okay. In that case, I'm gonna blink and I'm gonna sink the claws into his kidneys.
Very well.
Are you attacking him or you grabbing him?
I'm gonna grab his internal organs. I don't know if that'll help.
It's always a fun
That's the
thing
Baxter
to do.
special.
So you'll hear a lullaby as he's scrambling up. Hold him still as I'm trying much less gracefully to scramble up there.
All right. Roll your dexterity plus brawl, please.
Don't mind if I do. That is 5 successes.
Very well. You do sink your claws into him. However, as you sink your claws into him, you feel your claws, your hands, and everything that touches him start burning with incredible anguish. The skin and muscle at the tips of your hands start turning to ash. Take 4 aggravated damage.
Shit.
Did I mention he has wards?
You did not. I probably pulled him out at that point.
Okay. So there's an old phrase of, do you know what the problem with chasing the devil is? What happens when the devil turns around and looks at you? Please roll your dexterity plus athletics, please.
Dex and athletics.
I take that back. I am sorry. No, never mind.
Oh, yes, for rolling dex and
Yes,
athletics?
yes.
Okay.
I start to make my way up to the roof.
That is
Are
3
you just
successes.
using your potence to climb up the cement blocks?
I'm going to use I'll use traversal to run up the wall. So that's I passed my rouse check. And
Very well. Roll dex plus athletics.
wow. 6 successes.
Very well. You zoop right up the wall quite easily. From your perspective, Lullaby, you were tossed up and suddenly she's just there.
Yeah, turn. Hey, toss yourself up. No, hey. All right. Okay.
Lullaby, you see Baxter, his hands are being eaten away and are burned, scalding, and turning into ash after ripping into the gentleman.
We're on the same roof still, right?
Yes.
I have a kidney in my hand, though. So it's
Yeah. Just shaking my head. Wards, it's always wards. Trixie, don't touch him. Do something like this. I'm gonna level the shotgun. Rouse the blood to make myself a little better at this.
Very well then.
Let's get the reroll so I don't get hungrier. So, and then we do a firearms composure.
Yes, it's composure plus firearms or composure plus dexterity plus firearms, your choice.
If I go with, well, it doesn't matter. Then I rouse the blood, so I get 2 more. Just because this is a good kindred, I'm gonna willpower just to try to really get as many as possible.
You're gonna re-roll everything using willpower?
Reroll up to 3 of them.
Very well then.
So I got 5, potentially get 7 total.
Very well then. You managed to hit him, and he stumbles slightly. However, he does not seem to have taken as much damage as a person should from being hit by your shotgun. He takes the amount of damage you've seen out of Gangrel or Ventru being shot with your shotgun.
Trixie, really get your elbow in there. With the blast, I'm going to use the momentum of that just to keep on backing up from that.
You keep on backing up?
It's a little bit. I'll get in shotgun range, and from the kick, I'm going to take a few steps away.
Please give me a wits plus awareness roll, backing up.
Whoa. This should be good.
Oh.
Because you didn't say you moved forward. You said you were tossed up, you climbed up, and then you pulled your shotgun.
That is very true. I'm not terrible at this. 3.
All right, you do
3
manage
or
to get...
mutual failure if I failed.
No, I'm not going to literally punish you, make it higher than 3 difficulty to not fall off a building. You then realize that despite your honed combat instincts, you should not back up anymore because that's about a 2-story drop. So the gentleman in question turns and manages, what did you roll on your Dex Athletics?
It was 3 successes.
He touches you.
Shit.
Please roll composure plus fortitude or occult. Your choice.
Fuck.
Well, since I don't have any fortitude, that makes that real easy. That is 1 success.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, shit, man.
This is gonna suck.
You take 7 aggravated damage and go up to 5 hunger.
That would pretty much do it.
Oh, no.
Trixie.
And you see the black veins on the side of Baxter's face bulge out as the gentleman touches him. In a wave that comes from where he was touched, they start popping and seething with red mist. Bulges start appearing throughout his body. Explosions of blood, both liquid and gas, come over him. And unaware of whether this is final death or torpor, you see Baxter fall to the ground under this person's grasp. The gentleman in the black suit throws him aside and just looks at you and then goes.
And what does that do? Is he just waving at me, or?
He's just saying, you may go.
I get down low to the ground and I activate fleetness and I run at him while at the same time using uncanny grip to rip up the ground. So that's what I'm basically trying to do is I'm going to try to rip up the ground around him in a circle.
Interesting use of the power. Rolls. So you're ripping up the ceiling tiles in order to put him through the roof.
Yeah.
All righty. Give me a dexterity plus athletic or strength plus athletics roll.
Okay. I passed both rouse checks.
Would everyone else kind of feel that with the
I was
revolver?
just about to ask
moment.
that. If we would feel him go into torpor.
You feel like you have suddenly lost something.
Baby.
I'm going to run up and grab onto Raphael real tight.
4 successes.
You managed to, with supernatural speed, rip up the tile around him. The old building that was built in the 60s or 70s, the tiling falls apart. He looks confused at you as you run around him, and then in a positively Wile E. Coyote moment, looks and then falls through the frickin' floor. And however, he does land with cat-like grace on the ground.
That fucker. Are you fucking kidding me? God damn it.
He looks up at you. And your friend, by the way, is hanging on the edge of this precipice. You have, however, managed to get distance between him and Baxter's body. Lullaby, what are you planning on doing?
I'm gonna yell out. It says poltergeist that she'll be around.
Mm-hmm.
How about you toss some of that debris at him? And I'm gonna try to aim down in the hole and get another shot.
You can definitely do that. Roll for your shotgun first, please.
Rousing the blood again. Get hungry. 10.5.
And I've grabbed onto Raphael. Like, we have to get these people out of here. I have to start the car. We have to go.
I'm using another willpower. 6. I'm down 2.
So this particular strike strikes much truer, and you see the pellets of your shotgun rip into the Tremere's body, and he stumbles away towards the large glass picture windows at the front of the repair shop.
Damn.
Then he seems annoyed at that. That means that he does not have time to appreciate the washer-dryer combo that immediately slams into him from across the room and sends him through said picture window and onto the sidewalk in a spray of glass. You have a base feeling that with that immense piece of strength, your ghost feels that its debt to you has been repaid.
Agreed.
So the Tremere is now on the sidewalk, having been put through a plate glass window. And Baxter's, whatever state he is in, is sitting there as well.
I'm still
like
on
to
the
do
top of the
Trixie.
roof, or
Yes, Trixie managed to cut around you because he tossed you aside when he was done with you.
okay.
I go up and I just check on him.
All right. Well, that sounds like a great time to take a break. We will see you in a few minutes.
All right. We'll be back in a second.
Ooh.
Bye.
Welcome back to No Kindred Hungry, our Sabbat one-shot charity stream. And No Kindred Hungry, one Cainite down after a mixed results battle with a Tremere and his hoodlums in pursuit of rescuing one of the messengers. It is unknown whether Baxter is in any state to continue. The Tremere themselves has been slammed onto the sidewalk through a plate glass window with the help of some glass, and Trixie is on the roof, standing over the body of Baxter.
Whoa, Baxter, you okay? What's
Trixie.
Gonna
And he grabs with what's left of his right hand, he grabs like the satchel that he has with the silver goblet in it, and he like pushes it towards Trixie. He's like, take care of the others. And he like uses what's left of his left hand to like kind of caress your face a little bit, and then he falls into dust.
His skin starts cracking and crumbling. The various bursts in his skin start widening as if looking at a vast cracked expanse of a desert in gray, and you see his body start falling apart. The satchel falls from his breaking fingers onto the floor, and the silver ornate Valdery chalice scatters across the roof tiles and before hanging precipitously over the hole that you have created there.
shit?
I'm gonna grab on to Raphael, just bury my face into his back and scream.
All of you suddenly feel from a feeling of loss to a sudden pang of grief as the vinculum, the magical bond that is created by the Valdery, breaks between you and Baxter. Those of you who have been with him for a while feel it much more strongly than those who have only done it briefly. You feel something very rare amongst the Cainites. You feel sorrow and loss at the death of a friend.
And I'm just digging my nails into Raphael's shoulder, just still screaming into his back.
I skip all of the stages of grief and just go straight to anger. What the fuck? I don't think I'm gonna be subtle ever again. If this is what being subtle gets you, I'm not doing this anymore. And I go and I pick up the silver chalice and I walk over to Lullaby and I just hand it to him, but I kind of accidentally punch him in the stomach while I give it to him and be like, this is more your thing than it's my thing. You take that. And then I just jump into the hole that I created.
The window is smashed. You land on top of some various, used appliances. You look out the plate glass window, and the body is not there.
I just decide to keep moving through the building.
You do spot him. He is running down the street at due haste in the general direction of that bus stop.
I want to look for Darla.
Darla?
Mm-hmm.
They are back at the warehouse. You can step out of the broken window and walk straight there. The street is strangely quiet after the commotion and the breaking in the glass, as if the city is holding its breath.
Come on, darling, let's push forward.
Okay.
And I drag the torpored bodies behind me and I push forward towards the vehicle.
I'm walking with purpose.
Very well. You drag the bodies. You're just dragging them across the concrete, across the sidewalk.
Once we get to within eye shot of the vehicle, I'm going to hoist them over my shoulder and bring them to the van.
You're carrying two grown people over your shoulder in broad daylight or in the middle of the street.
Was that I mean, are we within the fence?
Your van is
Mhm.
parked outside of everything. It was never brought. It's actually 2 buildings down
'Kay.
at the tire place.
Darla, go pull up the van. Let's load these up.
I'm on it. And I'm gonna take off running towards
Uh,
the car. I'm not I
very
don't
well.
care.
You run,
Mhm.
and you see Trixie moving down the sidewalk towards you, and you see in the distance a fleeing person.
I am going to as I'm passing Trixie, I'm gonna take my gun and pass it off to her. And just say, light him up, baby. And run to the van.
I take the gun. I look at it for a second. I turn around and I look at the fleeing body.
Mm.
And then I just bolt after him with fleetness. And I call up to Lullaby and I say, Lullaby, come on, move your ass. I failed
Lullaby.
my rouse.
While the cub got shoved, she started to pursue, and all this was going on. I'm gonna collect as much ash will fill in this goblet, pack it in. Could be of some use. Seeing the direction this individual is heading off, but knowing I definitely don't want to be the first to cross paths with him, I'm going to sink into a shadow and follow.
All right. You're using Oblivion to take a shadow form?
Yes, I'm using the Tenebrous Avatar, which is 2 rouse checks. 1 pass, 1 fail. So me and my things will sink into a shadow and I will pursue.
So, fueled by the rage that only a Bruja can feel, you stomp your feet over the sidewalks and make a Dex plus Athletics roll, please.
Three successes.
Excellent. He turns a corner. You manage to turn a corner about the same time. He is still about 15, 20 feet in front of you. He is well within range to light up with the pistol.
I shoot him. I aim for his head.
Very
And
well.
these are incendiary rounds.
Composure or dexterity plus firearms. You may also attempt to use the blood to increase your stats if you wish.
Yeah, I'll rouse my blood. Call upon the power of the blood.
It is certainly a very appropriate time as you have decided to go straight to anger in your periods of grief.
Yes. Six.
You managed to pump several bullets into his neck, his shoulders, and his head. One explodes quite nicely through the front of his skull. And suddenly, nothing but a slowly dissolving skull and ash scatters across the sidewalk. You have slain the unnamed, unknown Camarilla member, which has taken your friend from you. It was over in a moment due to the damage which Baxter always did to him. And you did it with a mortal toy.
I drop down to my knees and I kind of scream and I just start tearing at the ground just in anger because that there's still anger even after that.
The cement ripples and breaks underneath your potent grasp. The gun you didn't even bother throwing away twists in your hands as you slammed it against the ground. And you're just left on a quiet street. The gunfire, now the echoes, even the echoes having silenced, and just pile of ash on the sidewalk. And the universe does not seem to particularly care for this moment.
I've made it
Lullaby,
back to
you
the
come.
car.
Yes, you come back to the car and you pull it up. Lullaby, you come upon the scene shortly afterwards, especially after following the scream and the gunshots that came before it.
I will stay as a shadow, slowly creeping along the path through where she's trashing the ash and the bones and the concrete, and just slowly sort of crawl up Trixie's arm.
You feel the chill of the touch of oblivion on your arm. Unlike most kindred, you are quite familiar with this touch and are not as frightened of it as others would be.
I'll hitch a ride here until
Feels about right.
There are the sound of sirens in the distance.
So has Darla pulled up the vehicle?
Yes.
Darla has pulled up the vehicle and you are able to stash the two bodies in there.
Okay. All right. I'm going to crawl in the back with the bodies, and Darla, let's get the others. Let's get out of here.
Will do. And I'm going to I should probably do a willpower check for this. Hold my shit while I drive to pick the others up.
Yes, you should do a willpower check for that.
Okay.
In fact, now that the moment has passed, I would like all of you to make a willpower check.
Okay, for me, that's going to be 3 successes.
I refuse to do a willpower check.
Let's see here. Oof.
So I've already spent some willpower. I got 1.
Mm.
2 successes.
And
Actually,
I got 6.
Trixie, you feel a wave of determined stoicism overtake your grief. Perhaps it's helped by the fact that you were the one who slayed the person responsible for the death. Darla, how many did you roll?
3.
You are shaking visibly. You have been with Baxter for quite a bit and through quite a lot. Lullaby, you don't feel anything. You overcome what weak vinculum existed between them. And how many did you roll?
2.
Raphael? You really, really want to lash out. You even, perhaps for the first time in a very long time in your own life, want to cry. You want to break something, you want to destroy something beautiful, and you want to weep. You do not have to, but you have that sensation.
I'm going to reach back to try and grab Raphael's hand.
We'll get payback for this. We've been led astray.
I told you they'd let us burn. Told you.
The Shadowlands ain't so bad. I think Baxter will be just fine in there.
You pull up and you pick up the other two easily.
Okay. I'm gonna make my way.
Where are you heading?
As she's driving, I'm going to make the phone call to the burner.
Very well.
Or actually, I won't make the phone call because I know I can't. I will have to have.
I can make the call if you hold the phone.
Okay, I'll dial it out. Let's get a hold of our contacts.
Good idea.
So, given the uptick, the phone answers, and given the uptick in murder and violence reports that I'm getting over the police radio, I'm sure that my advice of being subtle was well taken to heart.
You will calm your fucking attitude right now. Tell us where to meet you so we can be fucking done with you.
Manners. Very well, then. There's a mountain off of the Mopac Expressway. You'll meet us there at the top. Understood?
Crystal
signs.
clear.
Mount Bonnell. There's even steps. It should be easy for you. Bring the young lady if you don't mind.
What about the other one?
There's another one. Bring them both. We'll have a party.
For each person I give you, you gotta give me something.
I'm sure we'll discuss terms by which we come to some
No,
sort of
I want
arrangement
terms
soon.
right now.
Manners.
I have none. I left my manners back in New York.
Very well, then. Well, I'll do the traditional duty of every single toreador has been for 1,000 years. You will learn them. I have all the cards. I have what you need to know. And if you want to go and turn your fucking traitorous clanmate or packmate and the rest of you out of here without the answers the Archbishop wanted, you go ahead. But do not threaten me, or you'll know exactly what dark roses are capable of. Do you understand, lunatic?
Oh, little thorn. Thorn in my fucking ass. We'll see you on that mountain. Guaranteed.
Sure you will.
Pissant.
Hang up the phone.
We should just kill these fucking people right now and just leave. It's not like we gotta stay here. What are we supposed to make fucking Austin our new home now? It's not a home if Baxter's not here.
The shadow will drip off of Trixie and form into Lullaby again.
What happened?
Well, Tremere happened. Boy was wild as a bobcat, bitter as a priestess wife, and things got out of hand. I'm not the violent type. And, well, Baxter went all in and it didn't work out for him.
It was a really good shot. Like, he had a really good shot. If that Tremere wasn't warded with all that fucking magic, whatever the fuck it was,
Wards.
he would have,
Gotta learn
he
that.
would have got him.
Thank you, sweetheart.
He would have got him.
I'm gonna drive us to the mountain, following all the appropriate signs and making sure to not draw attention to us.
I climb out the window and get on the roof.
Trixie.
I don't care.
Okay.
Darla.
Cat-like grace, or cat-like reflexes, you can
Let
certainly
Ref.
do that without much
Mhm.
problem.
Yes.
What is it,
Ma-
Ref?
Which one do they want?
They want the girl.
Interesting.
They didn't even know about the man.
Going to look at, is she still pretty bound?
She has chains and manacles on, but the chains are not attached to anything since you removed where they were spiked to the wall. The chains are about a foot or two long.
She cuffed.
Yes, they are manacled to her.
I'm going to untorpor.
You're going to remove the stake?
Mhm.
She gasped immediately. It was obvious she did not take enough damage to torpor her before she was incapacitated with it. And she goes, "Who are you?"
Better question, who the fuck are you?
We have questions. We were sent to fetch you from the sheriff.
I can't tell you anything.
Well, you're going to. Or you'll never
No.
see.
I can't.
What do you mean? I see. Do you recognize this one? I kicked the male.
Yeah, his name's Gabriel. He's an anarch.
An anarch. So he has no use to us.
I wouldn't be so sure.
How can you know that for sure? You don't even know who the fuck you are.
I don't know who the fuck you are. I know who
I'm
I
your
am. But I don't know
goddamn
who the
guardian angel until I decide otherwise.
My name's Kyla, okay? I can't
There we
tell you
go.
anything more than that.
There we fucking go, Kyla.
Who are you supposed to meet, Kyla?
I'm supposed to meet Snowden.
Where at?
I was supposed to call him. I lost the phone I was supposed to call him with.
See. All right. Well. Sit tight. We'll see Snowden soon.
Are we gonna ask what she knows about the Anarch? You seem to be under the impression he's a.
Do you remember that, Kyla?
He can tell you more than I can.
I hope you're worth it. We lost one of our own tonight.
She just looks back and forth at that and just kind of tries to crawl towards the edge of the van.
If he's
Towards the
not
back.
worth your life, I will personally devour every inch of you.
I didn't do anything. I didn't ask. She just cuts herself
I
off.
don't care.
Where are we going?
To the mountain.
Mount Bonnell? Oh. Okay.
What?
I guess that's it then.
What happens at Mount Bonnell?
Snowden is the kind of person who has plans. He's flexible. I can't tell you.
You know enough to know to fear it.
Yeah?
Then what do you know that makes you fear it?
I can't tell you.
Can you do
I
something
will-
about that, Darla?
I will
Get
pull it
there.
out of you if I gotta.
Why don't we pull over?
All right, fire drill. And I'm gonna pull over and get out of the driver's seat and get in the back.
All right. Given your familiarity with the powers of dominate, you think that she has been mesmerized in such a way that she cannot talk about something.
Okay. Oh, what do I have that can break that?
Who's driving now?
I think we're just parked for the moment.
I'm gonna get in the driver's seat and just hang out.
Would I have familiarity with what could break that effect?
You could try to basically dominate her harder and
Okay.
attempt to overcome the successes for the original command.
Okay.
Unlock the lock, as it were.
Yeah.
This is
then that's what I'm gonna
this
do.
is a terminal decree, which is difficult to unmatch, but you might be able to do it.
Yes, let me check what I need to roll for that. So this would be double checking what I roll for terminal decree. I think it's
Well, you would simply want to roll manipulation plus dominate, please.
okay.
Maybe rouse the blood.
I have a lot of dice for this. All right, so that's gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 with 2 that are critical, so 8.
Jeesh. Okay, then. You managed to pull whatever lock was put onto her mind, and she looks at you and goes, okay. Alexander Snowden figured out months ago that Mexico is been taken. Mexico City isn't just dark; it has a goddamn prince now. He learned about that. He learned about the La Sombra. He says he's in contact with some of the Crusaders, but I don't know. He always acts like he knows what's going on. And him and a few of the others in the other cities have some sort of plan to he calls it realignment or something like that, where he's going to do something to like do some kind of new era or something. He practically sent me to die, all right? I'm barely who got out alive. I turned back.
What were you sent for? Why are you so special?
He sent me to Mexico, and I got caught coming back.
Why? Why did he send you?
I don't know. To find out what was going on. He also had this weird, like, he wanted to know the names of the princes and the various people that have established themselves in Mexico, but I turned back.
He's a fucking
Him
traitor.
and his new, like, Tremere goddamn buddy has did all this crap to my brain. I was in a pack with him and he did this to me.
Let's hit him with the car.
He's a fucking traitor.
Let's hit him with the fucking car.
Desperate times call for desperate measures, he says over and over again in that goddamn voice.
What can you do?
I'm a fucking pander. I got nothing.
I start
What
the
about
engine.
him? What about him?
Gabriel is this fucking, he's this bruja. He, before, you know, the Anarchs and the Sabbat and the Camarilla decided that they hated each other, you know, he was kind of on their side a little bit. And yeah, and he knows Snowden, and he figured out what he was. He figured out he was one of us. I told Snowden, and Snowden somehow managed to get the sheriff to punk his ass.
I rev the engine. Let's hit him with the car.
I mean, aren't we still on the same side as him, technically?
Let's go pay Snowden a visit.
Snowden's a fucking traitor. He's no longer on our side, Lullaby. He's a traitor to the sect.
Alrighty.
Let's show him where ambition gets him.
I like the sound of that.
I put the car in drive and I peel out.
You follow the signs to Mount Bonnell. To call it a mountain is perhaps a bit of local humor. It's a few hundred square feet tall. It is got a parking lot at the base of it and a long limestone stairwell that leads up to a peak that overlooks the lower Colorado River. It is often used during the day as a place for hiking, biking, scenic views, but it's deserted tonight. It has a sign in front of it that says it's closed after this time. But otherwise, it is nestled into a West Austin suburb and is otherwise very quiet and poorly lit.
I park the car in the lower lot and I say, why don't we just call him and tell him he has to come down here? It's pretty fucked up he wants us to drag 2 bodies up a mountain.
We're not gonna drag 2 bodies.
Tell me, do you want to
Yeah.
live?
Yeah, it's generally part of my plan of living forever.
All right, then. Where do you usually meet on this mountain?
At the top.
Okay.
You think the Bruja will help us?
It would probably take a lot of explaining. However, given the situation, I would rather you not kill him. I can spin a story and at least get into San Antonio and then maybe get out of here. I might meet you some other time, but right now I need to get out of here because they pegged me as being one of them. If we both get rescued, he's probably not going to believe their accusations.
All right.
I can make him help us.
Well, that's an idea.
If he sees you with me, kind of loses my...
It's a good thing it's a fucking mountain then.
I'd rather you not kill him, but I can't tell you what to do. And
Oh,
I'd
I'm not
rather
gonna
you
kill
not
him.
reveal to, like, confirm that I'm goddamn Sabbat when I'm trying to keep incognito here.
I'm sorry. Are you gonna stand there and play little babysitter to me while I demontate this motherfucker's mind? Or are you gonna hide like a good little baby?
God, fucking Alexander was fucking right about this shit.
I
At
will
least.
choke slam you, child. I am trying to help you
calm
live.
down. Darling, does Alexander know we lost Baxter?
I told him. I didn't tell him we lost Baxter.
Good.
Does he know that the Tremere is gone?
No, I didn't tell him. I told him that for what we dealt with, we
Tremere,
needed payment.
Who was that to him? I'm gonna ask her.
All right, that was Crenshaw. He worked for Jennifer Holtz, the deputy. He was one of the prince's childer, and she's one of the new goddamn Tremere. I'm trying to figure out, like, I spent 10 years figuring out how to do infiltration, and now they're changing the rules all the goddamn time. Is they have she's one of the new Tremere promising all law and order and crap, and that was one of her childer. But the deputy, the Ventru, that was part of some sort of deal because fucking camis. And that was one of the prince's childer, and Alexander Snowden hated him anyways, but had him wrapped around his fucking finger.
Why don't you want him dead?
Gabriel?
Yeah.
Or if I can tell Gabriel that I was trying to go Anarch, and that's why the Seraph grabbed me, I can get him to get me a free pass into San Antonio and vouch for me without me having to go through all this shit. Okay?
He's your gate key.
Yep. But if he sees me with y'all,
well, then I guess you better behave then.
What the fuck do you want me to do?
All right, this is what we're going to do. Since they're not sure which one we lost, we're going to tell them that Baxter's back with Gabriel, and we'll spill the beans and release Gabriel if he don't return back to the van. Lullaby, you'll stay out of sight as we approach Your job is going to get us close to them so that we can pay them back. Is that understood?
All right. I don't know how happy it is going to see me unstaked.
Just plain dumb.
Or can't we just make it look like she's steak, slide it just missing the heart?
We could do that.
Mm,
It might hurt a little.
Believe
hurt a
me.
lot.
Believe me, I'm used to it.
We do that. I'll slither in there and the place is nice and dark. And then
And you
guys do
stick
what
him
you
in and
do.
just like, oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, that works.
Oh my god, be quiet.
I'm gonna see if Baxter wants to help. Wants to get a little bit of revenge.
You're going to try to summon his spirit?
I'm gonna try to host his spirit.
Mm.
Baxter, come into me. Give me some of his physical prowess. So you'll see me bring out the silver chalice full of his ash still. Trixie, crowbar, please. Shall take and pop out a couple of my teeth, spilling that blood
Ooh.
and the teeth into the cup. I use this as a tribute to Baxter's spirit to see if he will come. I'll open my mouth wide. See if he wants a ride for a little bit.
Let's see here.
So I need to make the ceremony roll, which I will do that.
Mm-hmm.
Is all my dice. 7.
You manage to, despite it is often a difficult thing, summon the spirit of a Cainite recently passed from the clutches of oblivion. You feel Baxter's considerable strength invest into you.
Baxter, speak up if you can hear us.
Yeah, I'm here.
So you would hear that lullaby say in Baxter's voice. His demeanor changing just a little bit to Baxter's before coming back to himself.
Whoa.
Is he really fucking in there?
Yeah, I'm here. I don't know where here is.
Oh, Pixie.
Kinda
Here is
smells a little funny.
Well, you'll get used to it.
Before you came back to
Buddy.
this body, Baxter, you felt as if you were falling into infinite blackness. You felt everything about you unweaving apart. It was not hell. It was not heaven. It was simply nothingness. And while that process seems to have been slowed to a crawl, it does not feel like it is halted.
I don't know how much longer I've got.
Just long enough to see a sight before you go crack the bones, sip the marrow, and all that. You deserve it, buddy. You deserve it.
Well, let's make this count. Is everyone ready?
Ready.
One quick
I'm gonna
guess.
Wait.
Yeah.
sink back into a shadow then for my approach.
One quick thing before we start. And I'm going to gather the pack together.
Mhm.
I don't know how much longer I got. I can feel something happening behind me. And I'm going to kind of pull them all together. I love you guys.
Love you too, Baxi.
Trixie, take care of these two. I know they give orders a lot.
Yeah.
Darla, keep an eye on Trixie.
Always.
Raphael, this black shit, I don't know. It's weird. It's chewing at the back of my head. I think it's connected to you guys. I don't know. keep everybody together.
I will do.
All right, let's kick some ass.
Well said. And then
Is
I'll-
there anybody? I didn't want to say nothing. Is there anybody who can spare me a bite? I'm hurting.
I'm putting out my wrist and. All right.
I mean, the Bruja's not going to be using his.
I'm gonna.
Good point. But
I don't
Just
want to risk
saying.
it. And
Risk.
I'm gonna take, and I'm just gonna take myself down one die. So I'm
Alright.
down to 2 now.
puts me to 2. All
You
right.
have the long flight of stairs up to the top of the mountain. The
Before-
sports car, by the way, that you saw earlier, along with another car, are in the parking lot.
Were they noticeably empty? Like they're definitely up.
They are empty.
Before we go up the mountain, because I know we're trying to like pretend that she's torped, I do want to undo her shackles on her legs. So when she
She
does go,
was never shackled on her legs. It was just her wrists.
just her wrists.
Mhm.
Real quick, I'm gonna go over and just puncture 3 tires on the car.
There are 2 cars. You want to puncture 3 tires on all of them?
Yep.
All right.
And then I'm gonna come back. All right, let's go.
Okay. Head up the mountain.
I'll head up behind Raphael.
Before we go, actually, before I go all shadow, I'll get in position, and like I said, I'll bring the shadows to them. But subtlety and whatnot, you being in charge, is there some sort of signal I should look out for, some sort of phrase?
You'll see the signal. It'll be pretty obvious.
So you want to kick things off then? Fine by me. See you at the top.
All right.
Let's do this. Come on, Trixie.
Right behind you, boss.
We'll make our
You
way up.
proceed up the stairs. I presume one of you is carrying Kayla?
Yes, I
Kyla?
will be.
All right. You carry Kyla up. She is doing an excellent job of seeming like a corpse. And you proceed up to the very top. The top of this truly just an aggrandized, very large hill is covered with a uneven stone patio of sorts. Observation. You see beneath you the spots of houses amongst the hill country and the various signs of the river winding beneath. A set of trees sit at the top, some of the tallest you've seen, but not very tall by the standards of anywhere else in the country. And you see Snowden, the younger gentleman that you saw earlier at the scenic overlook, and a pair of others, including the hooded Nosferatu, which Darla would recognize alone.
Is he
And-
he's not obfuscated?
He is not obfuscated. He's standing in the open.
Just wanted to make sure.
So Snowden is standing near this scenic, beautiful expanse of the night. This moonlight is quite nice. You could see why a clan which focuses on aesthetics would love this for a meeting place. And he looks there, and he's got kind of his hand almost, pet-like on the one that had said to Baxter earlier this evening, you have a shroud waiting for you. And he looks over and goes, oh, look, they can actually follow through.
All right. I want to count. How many are there total?
There are 4, including Snowden.
So there's a Nas, Snowden, the other individual we saw earlier. And what does this new person look like?
The new person, I did not tell you that, did I? The new person is wearing a leather jacket, not the biker sort, but something far more stylish, and a white t-shirt underneath. He has a crew cut and several rings on his fingers.
I want to slither towards the back of this group, taking the long way, if possible.
So Snowden looks at you and goes, you had some sort of thing that you were blaming me for, I believe.
Your misinformation.
Misinformation.
That was not the hound that were promised that was going to be there.
Well, I do not command the sheriff of the Camarilla. I simply influence him. It's subtle. I certainly noticed that most of you are perfectly intact.
Start walking closer, and
I'm sorry. I thought we were an army. Casualties happen.
drop. Is it Kylie?
Yeah,
Kyla. Drop Kyla onto the ground. So, had a very interesting talk with the Anarch. And I'm going to try to lie.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That's right. Manipulation, subterfuge.
Yep.
All right. Four successes.
What is your lie?
A rather interesting talk with the Anarch. Apparently, you've been outed. Apparently, you've been sloppy.
The Nosferatu uncrosses his arms and goes, and apparently you need an oil change and one of your brake lines is leaking.
Really?
I know. And Snowden looks and goes, and I know that Kyla has been telling stories out of school.
Interesting.
So you wanted to know, because I am a man of my word. And honestly, I honestly didn't know Crenshaw was going to be there. But thank you so much that you killed that bitch's kid. Because he has been a thorn in my side, and I was beginning he was actually going to suspect. Because Victor here, ever since the rest stopped, when you took your eyes off of him, Darla.
I'm making sure to keep my eyes on you.
Well, you should, because I'm going to tell you how things work now. Do you want to know the truth about Mexico City? That is what the Archbishop sent you here for. Well, I'm going to tell you the truth. Mexico City's way of doing things is over. Between the goddamn Second Inquisition and them foolishly parading off to the fucking parts unknown based on some glorified prophets and leaving the rest of us hanging in the wind while we did decades of work.
Keep going. No, keep going.
You smash and grab, pound your fist types. Don't begin to even realize that the real way of accomplishing our mission now is not to destroy the Camarilla, but to eat it from within. These idiots even tolerate blood cults now. What do you think I'm doing here?
Making an ass of yourself.
So, that's the plan. Weasel your
That's the
way in.
plan. I've long told all the people in this goddamn sect that I could turn a city without firing a shot.
Oh.
And I've almost done it.
Oh.
And I'm not alone.
Almost doesn't mean shit.
Well, I'm sure you've... Oh, I bet you haven't, because you've been in a hole fighting in a foxhole for a war that's no longer winnable. Have you heard of the Church of Cain? Have you heard of all the things we've been doing? You see, here's the thing. It's not that I'm a traitor. It's that packs like yours are outdated pieces of equipment.
Oh my god, you're
Yesterday's
such a
new.
2-bit little fucking soldier. You'd sell your goddamn soul for a Camarilla dick. You know that?
Yeah.
Oh, you don't even begin to fucking talk to me like that.
So are they by the cliff?
Yep. Well,
I'm
they're
moving
relatively
between.
near.
I'm moving between him and Darla, and I go, Darla, come on, man. I actually think it's like a pretty good idea. Like, I think this guy knows what he's talking about, like for real. Okay.
I'm gonna put my hand on Tracy's back and, unseen to anybody else, but just between me and her, draw a small X on her back. And just go, okay, baby, okay, okay.
And then I turn around and look at him and I go, but the thing is, we don't need him to do it. And then I throw my crowbar at his head.
I want to activate arms.
All right. Roll to activate your arms. I believe it's a rouse check.
Yeah.
I have no idea how this is working, but I think really hard to my Sambi friend that, man,
That's
this
my
guy's an
rouse.
asshole.
Pass my
Loud and
rouse.
clear, buddy.
You pass your rouse. Trixie. Roll Dex plus Athletics, please.
And arouse.
Okay. So this first roll is going to determine how many arms I get. All right, that's so far 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 successes with a critical. I'm going to spend a willpower to reroll 3 die.
Very well.
So 5.
I got 4 successes.
7 successes altogether, no critical. So 7 arms.
Wow. All right. You got a thing going on.
Okay.
While this
Yeah.
is happening, can Mr. Snowden's shadow distort, stretch, and then shrink just a bit until it begins to envelop the caster of the shadow himself? In my shadow form, I can envelop a person, giving them a -3 to everything.
Very well.
So my arms will use my wits and oblivion to attack. They all can individually attack. I'm going to give Snowden all 7 tentacles.
All right, then. What does controlling tentacles use again?
So
your
for
own dexterity?
it's the arms use wits plus oblivion to attack and deal superficial damage or grapple. And it adds half of the user's potence rating rounded up as a damage bonus. And the arms have a length in yards/meters equals twice my oblivion dots, which is 3. So 6.
Very well. Your arms of Aramon attack. I'm just going to give you this attack on Snowden. Do you get 7 separate attacks? I believe.
Yeah, they get their own attacks.
All right.
So he's going off the
Okay.
cliff.
Roll. I would say that all of your arms need to get a cumulative success of 6 between them all to launch him off the cliff.
Okay, so I will roll that. So 4 successes on the first one, 6 successes with a critical on the second one, 2 successes on the third, 7 successes with another critical on the fourth one, 4 successes on the fifth, 5 on the sixth, 4 on the seventh.
So I'm going to stop you there. Your arms grab Snowden, whip him around, and throw him with great speed down the mountainside, down the cliff.
I can see my house from here.
You hear the sound of cracking wood and slivers underneath there as he slams through what is obviously some branches far, far below this. The gentleman in the jacket and the hoodie Nosferatu look at each other and start slowly backing off.
Stop. Now,
What do you want from us?
I want answers, and I want your fucking name and badge number right now.
My name's Lazarus.
Quaint. What about you?
That's Victor.
Mm-hmm.
He points to the Nosferatu.
Mm-hmm. And
Tell me,
We're blooded members of the Sabbat.
which one of you cut our brakes again?
Oh no, the Victor says your brakes were fucked up anyways. That Paracar is a piece of shit. I
Wow.
had to get brake fluid in my face for 50 goddamn miles.
So
I'm gonna
there's-
walk up to him. Just gonna get real close to his face and say, "Why were you with Snowden?"
Because we're a pack and we look out for each other. And we've been doing this for a very long time. And while he's temporarily inconvenienced, he's right.
No,
What you are, it's out of date.
don't you know old is in again? And I'm gonna grab him and I'm going to rip into his throat and feast on everything I can.
The Nosferatu is not inclined to allow you to do so. Please do Dex plus Brawl, please.
Dex plus Brawl, wonderful. Oh! Oh! That would be 3 criticals.
All right. You managed to dig your face into him. The Lazarus looks at y'all and blinks out of existence as you dig into the Nosferatu's face or neck.
Who's still there?
The young man with the bowl cut that you know forth is simply lounging, looking out at the moon.
I look
He
at
seems to be making no move whatsoever.
Lullaby. I yell.
Lullaby would be, I envelop the person who's thrown off the cliff. So lullaby is at the bottom of the mountain.
I know, but that's why I yell. Can I yell
Okay.
at you, or can I not reach him with my voice?
You can yell. It would be echoey and hard to hear, but there's about to be did you choose to go with Snowden? So
I
you
can't
land
take
in a bunch of
physical
cedars.
damage. Yeah.
You land in a bunch of cedars. And Snowden whips out something that looks black metal and circular and says, I really hate this fucking trick. And he covers his eyes and pulls a pin. And drops it.
Yeah, I'm gonna, if we're in the woods, I'm gonna try to slink behind a tree for some cover then, if there is time.
So what happens is you hear a very loud bang, and roll let's roll wits plus oblivion to move quickly in your form.
Arouse the blood just in case. Get a little hungrier. Wits Oblivion, plus that. Why not? This is the time to do it and use another will. 8.
You manage to get behind a tree. You hear what is an extremely loud bang, followed by an extremely bright flash, and something sparking and spinning around on the ground. Snowden gets up, straightens his coat, and looks extremely annoyed as he looks around. No, Lasombra, they always think they're so goddamn clever. Just because they managed to, I don't know, they're the clan of fucking molasses or whatever the hell it is that this shit is made out of. Meanwhile, Lazarus has blinked out of existence. Victor is underneath Darla's fangs, being fed from. Are you attempting to yabblerize the Nosferatu?
Yes, I cannot stop.
All right, then.
Including I am chewing and eating at the flesh as well.
You're going to town.
Mhm.
All right. What is y'all's... Raphael, Trixie, what are y'all's actions? You see fire start near the base of the mountain.
Rafi, fuck, man, should I go down there?
Sure. Where's Lullaby?
I think he went over the edge.
He'll make it out. I start snaking my tentacles towards the individual that's just staring at the moon.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to grapple them.
He allows you to grapple him and he looks at you.
And I pull him in close.
Yes, he says.
And what's your deal in all this?
I see things. He goes back to looking at the moon.
I'm gonna look down towards Kyla, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just gonna lay there all night, or are you gonna get up?
You didn't tell me to get up, and you tend to shout at me when I do things you don't tell me to do. He gets up. You know, sect of freedom and all that.
Well,
leave him alone.
Who?
The one you got.
I'll
I doubt I could convince her to leave him alone.
gently put down this individual.
Snowden treated him like a goddamn pet. You take a Gehenna prophet and you turn him into a goddamn party trick.
Gehenna prophet.
Yeah, back in the day. Back when all that was going on. It's how Snowden knew that things weren't going to go right. It's how he knew about the Lasombra going before the Lasombra went.
I see.
I mean, you got to talk to him, right? You got to make some educated guesses, but I wouldn't do shit for him over there, but I don't know how well I do, but if you touch him or you try to take him, we're going to have words.
All right. You're free to go. Get out of here.
Yeah. Come on, Caleb. She grabs him and heads out. Meanwhile, a fire is broken out amongst the underbrush as the flashbang goes through its fiery death last throes. And Snowden is looking around impetuously, looking for wherever you went.
I will begin to extend the shadow to envelop the entire area around me in a cloaking darkness, which hopefully he can't see in. We should see.
All right.
Which will rouse. Okay, my rouse. So yeah, you can use a Stygian Shroud.
All right. So darkness spews out and blankets the entire area, which only you can see through. And Snowden is like, I fucking hate this shit. What is your... He seems to start trying to move through the rather dense undergrowth, trying to get away from you. What is your next action?
The shadow, I will become myself. I'm going to let Baxter take a ride here. As we've broken through the trees and the branches, I'm going to pick up a chunk of wood. I'm going to attempt to get behind him using this.
You've stepped out of your Tenebrous avatar form? You have left
Yes. Yeah, I'm going to keep the shadows up, but step out of that form. I'm going to try to get a makeshift wooden stick. And with
You can
Baxter's
find
strength,
plenty
try
of...
to...
Yeah. You are more than capable of finding a sharp shard of cedar wood.
Sweet. I'm going to go for the old shank in the heart.
Alrighty.
Okay. So my physical will go up. Arouse.
This feels deeply satisfying, Baxter. You get to invest all your strength into this little guy, and we'll see what happens.
Excellent.
So I don't remember what's the staking thing. It's like a strength
Strength
wall,
plus melee, please.
Just your strength.
You can use either Baxter's melee or your own.
Baxter, do you have any melee?
I have 2 melee.
Perfect. So I get +2 from hosting the spirit, then I blood surge for the other 2, so 4, 6.
If you had a hammer, that would work even better.
4. Although we're gonna keep using it because
Willpower.
Yep.
Can I use my willpower for it?
I think I'm being generous enough as it stands.
The 4 goes to a 6.
You managed to pierce the heart of Alexander Snowden quite nicely. He crumples to the ground and lays across a fallen log. However, there is a fire. And you're not a fan of that as a rule, especially not with shadows. And in fact, the flames start licking and eating at the shroud which you created.
Let's get this shithead and get out of here.
I agree, as I have this conversation with myself and grab Snowden and try to put some distance between me and the spreading flames.
You can climb up the mountain if you wish. It
Not
doesn't
yet.
take long at all with the strength you have, but you can also just move farther away in the woods.
Let's take the mountain route. Let's have a little rendezvous.
Very well. You want to meet them back up at the top of the mountain? Mm-hmm. It's a bit of a climb, but with you and Baxter both helping, you manage to haul Snowden's body up to the top. Meanwhile, you have feasted on the Nosferatu quite thoroughly, Darla. He crumbles to ash in your grounds. Kyla has left, and Lazarus is nowhere to be seen.
I'm just digging through the ash. I thought it would satisfy me, but it didn't.
And you climb over the wall that separates the cliff edge from the rest of the scenic overlook, and you look at the and carrying the stake body of Alexander Snowden.
Very good lullaby.
Yeah. I
I
had
want to
help.
rip his head off.
Hang on. I promised the last meal for our friend. I'll set it down, look around. Where's the rest of them?
Gone.
Start eating without me.
Gone.
Sick of getting the backwash. All right, then. Well, if you don't mind, I certainly don't mind. Perhaps we'll, unless there's a particular need for Mr. Snowden here, I was going to let Baxter have the last drop.
Well, Victor goes the spoils.
Baxter, any last words?
Love you guys. Take care
Love
of
you too,
yourselves.
Baxi.
And thus, on a lovely night at the top of a mountain, the infiltrators of Austin disappear or are slain. And that concludes our vampire story.
Yes.
That was rough.
I was
I'm
like,
sorry. Were we being subtle?
this won't go like the first game. We're gonna be real sneaky. Like, no.
I tried.
You were
But-
sneaky.
Alright.
You're allowed sort of sneaky, but
Oh,
you're just sneaky.
It was a lot of fun.
That was amazing. Thank you, Matt.
Yeah, it was so much fun.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you,
Thank
Matt.
you.
This
Thank you.
Sabbat
Thank you.
journey down south.
Yeah.
It was wonderful.
Okay.
Everything goes south.
Yes. Yeah.
That
so
used to
that
be
was,
for when we come to Atlanta.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was chapter 2 in the Friends in Low Places. Not a lot of friends left. That's okay. Made some new ones along the way. With that, let's go around, say who we are, plug our stuff, and then talk about what we got going on. I, once again, a bully, storyteller for Table Goth. Running V5 as most of the people here are. Also doing a few other games, doing some Monster Hearts, doing some GURPS, gonna do some Mage Technocracy soon. Before getting back into our first love vampire. So yeah, you can hang out. You're already on the channel, probably. So check us out on there. Let's pass it to Elijah.
So, again, my name is Elijah Israel. I ST for Near Dark Studios. We do a Chicago by Night game. Right now, if you haven't already caught it, I'm currently doing a Chicago by Night noir game that's currently set in the 1927. It's the current setting for that. So if you haven't caught it yet, we're going to be airing by the time this gets put up, our last episode should be on YouTube. So you can check us out at Near Dark Studios on YouTube. And yeah, the Chicago by Night will be back soon from its hiatus. We were just taking precautions with the quarantine. So hopefully y'all are safe out there. I can't wait to get behind the ST board again. So, but yeah, that's all I really got.
All right, Ellie.
I am Ellie Collins again. I am the storyteller for ATL by Night. Currently, we have season 2 streaming every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. on Eastern Time on twitch.tv/ATL by Night. And this season is already going pretty off the rails, so join us.
Speaking of off the rails, Steve, a fallen comrade.
I'm a storyteller, Steve, formerly known as Baxter Hammermeister. I'm over in Vancouver by night. We generally broadcast at around 8 or 9 on Mondays. And yeah, this is super fun.
Absolutely. Our special guest player, Shane Easton.
Rest in peace, Baxter.
Pieces.
Yeah, ashes, rest in ash. I'm Shane, and I love playing this game with all of you. Thank you so much. And you can see me on LA by Night, sometimes playing Katya, also Denver by Night, playing Jack's Tuesday, and just hopefully other streams too. I love playing games and I love playing Vampire. So thank you.
Love having you play Vampire.
We'll get you to Atlanta one day.
Yeah.
And then we were blessed or cursed to have Matthew Webb as our guest story,
Thank you.
Yay.
our Sabbat in chief.
Yeah, so you can find me on Twitch on Jackalope Studios, and you can find me on Twitter at Jackalope LARP. Every year we run the Night in Question, which is the retro Sabbat live action event. And coming next month, we will be starting our own streaming shows, including a Company of Shadows, ironically enough, which is our Star Wars Imperials campaign.
Excellent. Everyone's stuff we'll put in the chat, should be below us as well. Links to everyone to go check out, follow, subscribe, everyone here. Those of you donated, thank you so much for your time
Thank you.
with
Yes, thank you
hard time,
so much.
but anyone who is able to do anything to help Move for Hunger, we very, very much appreciate it. We're going to try to do this again. We're going to try to make this a thing to where each of us gets a crack at telling the story here.
Including
Steve,
Shane.
next one.
Maybe I'll tell my first story on a hunger stream for
You could be
No
the
Kindred Hungry.
So the secret is to kill characters.
Yeah, right? I know, it's like...
Wipe us all out.
You've seen me play Trixie. You don't want to see me storytell.
It's super fun. Thanks everyone for checking this out. Stay tuned for more stuff, news in the future when we can manage to get all these people and all these different time zones together for this again. Otherwise, thank you so much. And that's our story for now. See ya.
Bye,
Yeah.
everybody.
Bye.
Love you guys.
Praise Cain.